Right, howdy all, Considerable Bulk here, doing something, although very, very different. We've done it before. We're doing Considerable Conversations. And this time, things are going to get real, because we're doing something that's very close to our heart. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the correct screen, instead of this one, which I didn't want to. But it's okay, we can still see our co-host right there. So, heading over to here, I'd like to introduce, for today, on our Considerable Conversation, our podcast thing on this channel. Before I do, by the way, if you are watching on YouTube, if you are one of the 26 people that happen to watch these videos, please make sure you hit the subscribe, and tell some friends about it. If every one of you 26 plucky individuals tells a friend who then subscribes, we will have some more viewers. Yes. And we'll be closer, inching ever closer, agonizingly towards the silver plaque, which we shall erect proudly on a wall back here. But anyway, joining me above me today on our Considerable Conversation is one of Team Considerable's absolute very, very finest. It's Team Considerable Harperlarp. Would you like to say hello?
Hello, everybody. How goes it?
I love the reaction. Was that me? Yes, me? Okay. Right. So we have apologies from our third co-host today, which is Team Considerable Iraklis. He said he had every intention of being here, and he even did all of the groundwork necessary for this. Groundwork being the thing. Before we can't hear Harps. Harps kinda quiet. Okay.
I've turned my gain up. Please tell me if my volume is good or not. It might be booming. I don't know.
I know what I can do. I can turn your volume up as well in my Discord. Let me try that.
Extremely loud now.
Alright. So, can we have I think it's a stream issue? No, it'll all be. You go ahead and start talking, Harps, and let's see if we can't hear what we hear.
I'm tired about these jokes about my giant hand. The first such incident occurred in 1956. Classic Simpsons moment right there. And it seems to improve slightly, but still be quiet. I don't know if he's referring to...
Turn your mic up to the max.
Max.
Oh god, that's also yeah. Well, there's an echo because I put the speakers on. If I turn my mic off, I'm going to turn my mic off temporarily while you do some talking.
They can't hear me whatsoever.
Yeah, for some reason when I turned my mic off, it did that. That's very strange. You mean so the only way that our audience are hearing you is via the what we're picking up on my mic? Is that right?
Can't be right, surely.
Can't be right, can it?
Maybe it is.
Is it? Maybe if I did that. Okay. Is this better for Harps?
Okay, I'm talking. Fox now has his mic pointed to the side. That sounds like your microphone picking up my audio. That's what it sounds like.
I think you're right. Yeah, it's almost like I had this eerie premonition about an hour before the stream that we couldn't pick up audio. It's okay. What I've done is I've whacked up my laptop to the max and I've moved my microphone closer to said laptop. So there we go. There we go. That's going to do something.
Okay, so if I do some talking now, let's see how loud that actually is.
I think that sounds about right.
Right, yeah, people can hear me. It sounds like I'm speaking through a 1950s transistor radio, but they can still hear me.
Speaking of 1950s transistor radios, welcome in the chat to Mounty789, another one of Team Considerable's absolute very, very finest, and our oldest young guy by far. An absolute credit to the community he is there. And Danny Sadiq, good to see you as well. Indeed. There we go. How's our audio now? Any good? Feedback is what we want, although not that kind of feedback. Is P.
It's P. I understand your old person speak, Mountie. You have to dumb it down for us youths.
Yeah. Is P as in it's perfect, or it's P as in I need to go and change my pad right now? Is Panda No, Panda's not joining today. He's actually been called out on some urgent medical business. In his spare time, he's actually a freelance gynecologist, as it goes. I was also thinking it sounded like a transistor radio too, like Danny Sadiq knows what a transistor radio even is.
Maybe if we put a black and white filter on my camera, it'll all feel right.
Classic Harps. Alright, we've got apologies from Iraklis. Unfortunately, he can't be here today. He had every intention of being here. He'd done the groundwork. He did all the work necessary to be here. And what happened is that the work that he engages in during the daytime, as we know from some of the player profiles that we've had from before, or maybe it's yet to come up, but it certainly will appear in one of his player profiles when we get him on another considerable combat, is that he is a black and white like Bulk's goatee. Yes, like my goatee. My gentrified face. Something that Iraklis is actually very mad keen in is he does massive tapestries for cathedrals and castles, like the Bayer one. Yeah. And he was engaged in earlier today. He had to go off and get some material for said tapestry. Unfortunately, he got hit up on Tinder. It always happens. It always happens. And his date demanded that he go to a gardening wholesaler to look at some pruning equipment, and he had to say, "I'm sorry, I can't make it. Throws before hose. Otherwise engaged." And he blew off the date. But as the last I heard is that the date tracked him down and has purloined him. They put him in the back of the van, and they are on their way off to some gardening shenanigans uphill. They're going to be shoveling some dirt, apparently. Yeah, and now obviously it's nighttime over in Vietnam now, so he's going to be shoving dirt where the sun doesn't shine. That's for sure.
Right, your ability to spin a yarn out of nothing never ceases me. And of course, working in two brilliant puns in there as well. I was like, this doesn't. It sounds like it's a meandering, wandering, improvised mess. But then you're actually going somewhere, and it all pays off.
You give me enough. I'm like Juggernaut. You give me enough run up, I'm unstoppable.
The Juggernaut, bleep. Oh god, Vinnie Jones is a Juggernaut.
Oh god, yeah, Vinnie Jones's face on clearly not his body.
Yeah.
Right, so what are we going to be doing today? We're going to be talking about Mortal Kombat 12 and a very specific part of Mortal Kombat 12, and that is what guest characters we'd like to see in said upcoming game. Now, why guest characters? Guest characters are super important to every fighting game, because Stav is here again. Bulk Smash or Bulkanaut.
Bulkanaut, I like that.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Maybe they'll make the cut. So, guest characters, they're super vital. You may a lot of people who are purists of a franchise, whether they're Street Fighter players, Tekken players, or Mortal Kombat players in this case, they don't necessarily care for who the guest characters are. But guest characters for the life of your game are super important. Firstly, they clearly bring in an audience that otherwise would not join it. I am one of that audience. I was initially interested in picking up MKX because I thought, you could play as Predator. I'd love to play as Predator, and he looks really sick. Look what this guy's doing with him. He's got the plasma cannon and everything. He's shanking you. Yeah, so I was super stoked to pick up MKX, and I zeroed in, I locked in with my triscope on HQT Predator immediately, and then never looked back, and now we're here. So for sure, you're going to gain a new audience that otherwise would never have played the game. They never would have played the game. The flip side of that is that Bulk Jr. and Bulk Jr. Jr.'s first experience of guest characters was Negan in Tekken 7. They loved him. For a long time, he was their favouriteest ever Tekken character. The only problem I found, and thankfully they were a little bit younger then, so they didn't understand everything that was going on. They're not younger anymore, but they were younger then. And every time you hit Negan, he swears. So literally every time you hit Negan, he goes, "Oh shit, oh good." He is swearing all the way through the fight and at the end. At which point,
quick question though. So, do your kids know who he was for playing the game, and that's what made them go, "Oh, I want to play him." In the same way you did.
No, that's not. No, that's not how it went down. They thought the guy's got a baseball bat. I want to play him. And
right,
yeah,
so they weren't familiar with.
They don't know who Negan is IRL. That's for sure. Right, that's why they loved him. All the swears, possibly. Hunter, welcome home. Good to see you again. The other thing that guest characters do is they can also bring a whole new set of character mechanics to a game. Maybe, like, if you take Tekken as an example, you introduce Akuma and Geese, who have got meter. And they can jump. They're jumping around all over the place and throwing fireballs, which in the game as a whole no one had meter, and very, very few people have projectiles, and no one can jump. So it introduces a whole new element to the game, which is incredibly refreshing. And we see the same in all games where this happens as well, where you know they're indisposed. Yes. Hunter, unfortunately, you didn't hear about Iraklis' tribulations at the moment. He's currently having some dirt shoved at the moment. He's getting stuff pushed in where the sun doesn't shine at the moment. Did Noctis bring you to Tekken 7, Harps? Obviously played Jin prior to it, yeah. Lucky Luxor, there's a name I haven't seen for a while. Good to see you again. Welcome back home. Good to see you again, Lucky Luxor. So yeah, guest character.
Tekken he simply must be joking. Introduction to Tekken was the demo of Tekken 2 that came with my PlayStation in Christmas '96. So I've been enjoying Tekken probably about 17 years before you were born, Danny. So Noctis definitely was not. I wasn't drawn in by the lure of Noctis. I was drawn in because it's Tekken.
On the demo disc,
I've never bought a game because there was a guest character in it, and I've had a long-standing opinion that I would rather not have guest characters because I'd rather have characters that belong in the game. That said, I've enjoyed quite a few guest characters. Being in Predator and Noctis. Don't know if that is it. Yeah, if we must have guest characters, if we absolutely must, which apparently we must, then please let them be ones that I like, and sometimes they are.
Indeed, and that's the point that we're driving home here, is that guest characters, whether you like them or not, if you're the purer you are in the game, as in if it's more your main game, more your main title, then guest characters, you tend to not want to have them around because they don't represent what you love. But they are essential. They provide money for the company to be able to support the game longer term. They sell DLC. It's as simple as that. And if you don't sell DLC, you don't have a production budget. So, you're not going to sell those copies of that game. Simple as that. Now,
bringing a new audience, like you said.
Indeed. Now, on the flip side of that, the guest characters that were introduced into MK11, that's a different discussion. Did they, yield a huge number of sales? Probably. Probably. I mean, there's a bunch of people that played just because Terminator, RoboCop, and Rambo are in there, for sure. Yeah.
I think Lucky might be a bit off the mark with this comment. He says, guest characters are basically for the people that don't care about the franchise. I disagree, because I loved Alien films and Predator films all my life, and when they brought Predator in, I was like, oh, like, I already love Mortal Kombat. I love Mortal Kombat. I've loved almost all of them, but I bought Predator because I also love Predator, and there were hints that they were going to bring Alien out as well, and I said they wouldn't dare. They just wouldn't dare bring Alien and Predator in one Mortal Kombat game, and then they did. Sold. So I disagree that the guests are only there for people that don't care about the franchise, because, you know, I care about the Tekken franchise, and I bought Noctis. I just think, especially with Mortal Kombat, there were characters I wanted to see in the game that were Mortal Kombat characters that didn't make the cut, because we had half the DLC be guest characters. And that was my issue with it. I would have had, I mean, they had Robocop and Terminator. I do like those characters, but I didn't really enjoy playing as them that much. I disagree with that. I was talking about people who only play for the guests. Well, yeah. In terms of people who don't care about the franchises, guests are only there for the people who don't care about the franchise.
How did your volume go up dramatically just now?
I haven't changed anything.
Your mic went into overboost when you started, when you got excited about guest characters.
Oh, I'm talking loudly now.
Ah, okay, that might be it.
I don't know. I mean, my gain is on maximum.
Okay. He got passionate. There we go. Passion. So yes.
I'm like Doom Guy, except whenever he picks up a weapon, he empowers it and makes it more powerful. Whenever I talk into a mic, it becomes more powerful. Do you
remember? Okay, so in Doom 2, when he picked up the BFG, the little face at the bottom, smiled.
It was like, oh yeah,
oh yeah. And when do you remember Duke Nukem 3D? He'd pick up certain guns and he'd go, oh yeah. he would pick up guns.
Balls of steel. This is also the same guy that in Duke Nukem Forever, a game that was in development hell for so long that everything about it was dated by the time it finally came out. Duke Nukem, there was an Easter egg in there where Duke Nukem would find Master Chief's helmet, and he would just go, "Power armor's for pussies." And I was like, maybe in the 90s that would have been cool. Duke, go home. Come on, sure, Duke, let's get you to bed.
So the premise is guest characters, wherever you draw them from, whether you draw them from outside of fighting games or whether you cross-pollinate from one game to the other, that's also something that's very important. Otherwise we would never have had Street Fighter Cross Tekken as a whole game of crossovers, but you have lots of crossover events happening at the same time. Guilty Gear farms out their characters to so many different games. You probably don't realise, but especially if you're not into the Japanese scene, but Guilty Gear has their characters going across all sorts of things, even mobile games and into other fighting games. There's a Guilty Gear character in Samurai Showdown right now, as it goes, Baiken, because she's just a very popular character in general.
Isn't there a Samurai Showdown character
in Soul Calibur? Haomaru, yes.
Haomaru, that was
it, yeah. Haomaru, yes.
Discount Mitsurugi, yeah.
He's a lot of fun, though. Have you played him? He's a lot of fun.
I only bought one DLC character, and that was my boy Huang.
So Bolt Jr. likes using Haomaru because he's got bigger hair than Mitsurugi, and I like using Mitsurugi. So we do samurai show, like literally a samurai showdown.
Samurai showdown.
Yes. We get a British secret agent on the case. Yes, we are a samurai
it's perfectly acceptable to hit a samurai as long as the palm is open.
Okay, so whatever your thoughts on it, guest characters are here to stay. So we've prepared some slides, okay, and we're going to get stuck into both of us have chosen 3 guests who we would love to see in Mortal Kombat 12, which is a game that will be part of our fibre and being forever and ever. A PowerPoint, no, not those kind of slides. We're gonna Sean Connery references from Harps. I know, right? Harps does a better Sean Connery than I do, and I don't even do a bad Sean Connery. Yeah.
I wouldn't wouldn't say I do a good one. I just like to remind people that he once said in an interview that it's okay to hit a woman as long as your hand is open.
Wasn't he being interviewed by one of his former co-stars? I think he was like being interviewed by like Ursula Andress, like a long time afterwards, like sometime in the 80s or something like that. And she like broached the subject of, you slap women in all of your movies, and he was like, yes, I believe that that's how the and she was like, surely that's how the character is. That's more like how the character plays rather than you, Sean. No, I think that's how you should treat a lady.
He's like, I'm Sean goddamn Connery. I can do what I want. And he opens his hand and goes, you better watch it.
He can do what he wants, and what he wants is to definitely not pay tax.
Oh, he's so old.
Okay. So we're going to name 3. We've also got a bonus character, which we may not necessarily intend to end up in the franchise. So we're going to run down for our first one, and obviously I was talking about cross-pollination. So let's ask the first question here. Who do you like? There you can see Ryu, who's been... everyone loves Ryu. He's been seen in everything from Fortnite to Street to Power Rangers. He's one of the best characters in Power Rangers right now. But there he is, as you can see, he's very, very popular amongst the voting public, doing a selfie.
It's pretty ironic considering how he's in many ways kind of one of the more bland characters from his own franchise. He's just like, I am the default character. Everything else is like an expansion of me.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so Ryu is the reason why I play Akira in Virtua Fighter. Because...
surprised me.
Well, yeah, because I literally looked at the screen and thought, he looks like Ryu. Hey, how hard can it be?
That's a type.
Yes. But also...
White E and a red headband.
Ryu was my secondary in Street Fighter 2. Yeah, he's who I fell back on.
When I was a kid, I was playing my introduction to Street Fighter was Street Fighter 2 on the Amiga.
Sorry?
Street Fighter 2 on the Amiga.
No, I'm just sorry.
You couldn't even do 2-player on it. It was such an excellent port. But that's when I was introduced to Ryu and Ken, and I was like, well, these two guys look basically the same, except that guy's spinning kick is faster, and when he uppercuts people, he sets them on fire. So I'm going to be that guy.
Cool kids chose Ken.
I upgraded to Akuma.
I always pick Ryu. I just thought he looked classic. Anyway, shall I kick off, or do you want to kick off? What do you want to do?
I'd like to hear your first pick of the 3.
Well, I have a theme for my picks, and I wonder if the audience are going to be sharp enough to pick up on it. My first guest character for MK12 that I would love to see, and I would obviously I would buy the premium package before, pre-release, so I'd get this anyway. But if I had to pay for this character, I would definitely pay premium money. Leeloo from Fifth Element. You didn't see that one coming.
I was not expecting multipass. Okay.
Leeloo Dallas multipass. That's right. Let me just bring her up here in all her glory. There we go. There's Leeloo. Hang on. Let me just click on her. That would be. She's written in as Carlton for some reason on my. Not sure why. There we go. There we go. Mia Jovovich in all her glory, wearing, as you can see, the correct amount of protective gear. This is how fans of MK9 would have preferred to see literally every character in MKX. Harperlarp is vomiting right now. You gotta love.
Danny said, "I also didn't see this vomiting."
So there we go. Leeloo Dallas multipass, the supreme perfect being in the lore. So in the film, she is a perfect being, and you can tell she's perfect because not only is she Mia Jovovich, but also when she fights people, she kicks everyone's backsides. She is hurling alien species 3 times her size, out of rooms, across hallways, with the mere flick of a finger. She is a very, very, how do I put this? Strong, independent young woman.
It's a femme fatale.
Indeed. And yeah, she has naivety about her. Everything is new. A little bit like me when nowadays, where I'm losing my memory, everything is new. I make new friends every day. So it's nice to have new experiences. So I was thinking maybe one of her skills is she could learn on the fly some of the skills that her opponent is using, perhaps, and use it against them. Other things that you'll see her do in the movie, apart from learning very, very quickly, is acrobatics. She's into backflips and running up walls and jumping over people and things like that. So for sure, and there's the iconic her falling backwards out of the 100-story building. I'm gonna beat you with the DLC, damn it.
Yeah, lucky says female Shang Tsung.
Indeed.
I was getting a bit of a Shang Tsung vibe. Wouldn't you want to play as Fem Tsung?
Fem Tsung. Yeah, to be fair, I look at Mila Jovovich, I don't think Shang Tsung. But, you know.
I look at Mila Jovovich and I think, it's Carrie Tagawa. The Flesh.
Carrie's been he's had a nip and a tuck everywhere.
Like, I want my hair obnoxiously ginger. Are you sure? And he's like, yes.
Well, don't forget, she went straight from here to Resident Evil, so you know, can't be doing that bad.
I'm trying to think if that's an upgrade or not. I mean, the first Resident Evil film was actually not that terrible for a video game film, but the Fifth Element is really good.
And then, as a fatality or brutality move, she could start using the Fifth Element of love. Not sure how that would translate in a video game, but you know, it's your
imagination.
Yeah, if there's any way of being able to get Gary Oldman from Fifth Element in there as well, get him in as Zurg, get him in there, maybe as a like a super move. She calls in the help of Zurg, who comes in with some of his toys. That would be awesome. Maybe she could use
the Zap toys.
Yeah, what was it? What was the gun called? The Zap. I can't remember what it was called.
I know. I just remember Chris Tucker with a wig.
Chris Tucker with the wig. You could make a whole fighting game out of characters from the Fifth Element.
Really good. Lee Evans was in the Fifth Element.
Yes, he was. He was the sailor boy, wasn't he? Yeah.
He's just looking at her and he's like, tall.
The power of love brings a whole new meaning to finishing.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. It's like you think it would be a friendship, but she's like, no. Kills them, trust me.
Yes. So much love they die and explode, or explode then die. You know, whichever. That's how we generally do it. So there we go. That's my first pick. It's Leeloo, or to give her additional names that she doesn't need, Leeloo Dallas Multipass, as my first pick. There you go. What do you say to that, Mr. Harps?
I was not expecting that whatsoever. You took a different route than me, I see, in terms of theme.
My cosplay of Barney Stinson. Alright, so I'm ready on the Google. Go for it.
Okay, let's go for my number one. My first guest pick for Mortal Kombat 12 is not a surprise. I'd be surprised if you weren't already Googling this bulk. It's not a surprise. It's the guest character I wanted with all my heart in Mortal Kombat 11, but he never showed up.
I'm already writing it. Doom, yes.
He's already typing it. The Doom Slayer, or Doom Guy, as some people call him. I haven't even written any. I've got notes here. I haven't even written any notes for Doom Guy because I don't need them. Everything he does is basically already custom built for Mortal Kombat. You know, how many times have I said he just goes around doing fatalities on everything he sees, as long as it's demon in some form. I went for a theme. Wait, I did go for a theme. Tried to follow the theme of all the guest characters in Mortal Kombat, because obviously in MKX the theme was like sort of horror and slasher. and in MK11 the theme was more sort of like 80s action. But in general, the theme is they are so brutal in their own media. That's why they're brought into the most brutal fighting game series. So obviously RoboCop, you've seen RoboCop, it's extremely brutal. Same with Terminator, same with Spawn, I presume in the comics he's brutal.
Oh, Spawn, Joker even in the movie he was brutal. Spawn was
I didn't see it.
If you didn't see it, then congratulations. Joker
obviously isn't very brutal. I mean, obviously there was that one crowbar thing he did, but as we all know by now, Joker was brought in at the last minute to replace Ash Williams, who is known for brutality in his films.
I was wondering about that, because when you said that, obviously Joker was brought in to replace Ash Williams, I can't for the life of me see how those animations on the Joker model fit Ash Williams. I can't see how the Jack in the Box or prancing around with the stick.
I don't think any of the moves. I think the idea was, or at least so the theory goes, is that they were going to get Ash Williams in, then some sort of licensing deal fell through, and they couldn't get him done. Just couldn't work it so that he would be in Mortal Kombat. So they said, we need a character to fill this slot that we've now got. Doom Guy! And and so they had to scrap him, which would explain why the Joker's model in the reveal trailer for the Combat Pack was so sort of, it looked rushed compared to the other models, and why Joker looked so different in the final version of the game. And it would also explain, Joker the last character or Spawn?
Spawn was the last.
Yeah, but Joker was like sort of near the end, I think.
It was toward the end, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I think Joker had any moves that were originally meant for Ash. Anyway, we're getting way off topic, because Doom Guy is what we should be talking about. Look at him. He's got a shoulder cannon on his shoulder, being all cannon-ish like Predator. He can shoot grenades from there. He can shoot ice bombs from there that freeze people. Freezing people, that would never be seen in Mortal Kombat. Oh no! He's got a flame belch on there, which when he sets enemies on fire with it, when he then kills them if they're still on fire, they drop armor and stuff. He's got all sorts of weapons. He's got the arm blade as well. I've never seen anyone with an arm blade in Mortal Kombat. That wouldn't fit. What are they on about? Why would they put that in? That would be so out of place in a Mortal Kombat game. Wait, Baraka exists. Everything he does is just perfect for Mortal Kombat. And I've had some people say, oh, but he'd just be another gun character. And to that I say, maybe. But if he was just a gun character, he'd be the best gun character. And even then, he's got so many different abilities that don't involve guns. In Doom Eternal, he's got the blood punch. So which, when it's charged up, he can one-shot a pinky. And you know how tough pinkies are, especially from the front. He can just one-shot a pinky. He's got the Crucible blade, which is somehow even more devastating than the BFG 9000. Like, he's got all these weapons. He's got a shotgun. They had the super shotgun in Doom 2016, and they said, how can we make this 10 billion times more amazing? And they said, I know, put a grappling hook on it, which will, so that he can fire it at enemies and take himself towards the enemy, and then he's point blank range with a super shotgun. Oh, and there's an upgrade which means that when you grapple hook onto an enemy, it sets them on fire, which means, of course, they drop armor as you're approaching them. It's just, all of these things could be just great abilities for Doom Guy. And I cannot think of a character that would fit more seamlessly into Mortal Kombat than Doom Guy. He's the greatest. I love him. And that's my first pick.
He is a solid pick. Getting back to just catching up with the chat there. Would Lucky Luxor, would they have costumes or gear? My stance on this is I would like a combination of both and bring the franchise kicking and screaming into the 20th century like all other fighting games did back then, where you could pick your costumes and then add accessories as you wanted to. So you could just put anything you want within obviously specific reason. But it doesn't stop you in Tekken.
Tekken's like, I'm going to have a floating fish above my head. Why? Because I can.
The only thing you can't do is you can't give guys girls' clothes. You can't give girls guys' clothes in Tekken. I think that's a missed opportunity.
I think we have to drag the fighting game into the 21st century
to be able to do that. Yes, for sure. So I'd like a combination of both. Did you say the same as well, Harps?
Yes, both. I mean, Doom Guy has multiple skins, especially in Doom Eternal. He's got what you see now, which is his default Praetor suit from Doom Eternal, but he's also got the Praetor suit from 2016, which is a bit different. He's also got his old Slayer outfit that he used to wear back on Sentinel Prime when he was training to be a Night Sentinel. He's got, stab scene, he's got like some guy wearing a cosplay Doom costume as a skin.
Yeah,
and there's
that's
Doomacorn.
genius. The Doom cosplay dude is genius. When he jumps out and then has to pull out the retractable claw because it's obviously not motorized, it's made of cardboard. It's brilliant. When he's doing the cartwheel, he can't actually do a full cartwheel because he's just a dude.
And then when he stands up, the gun is like sort of falls to the side. It's so good. I love it. Is Doom Guy the best? I think he's the best. Look at him. He's so awesome. Everyone keeps telling him what he can't do, and he just does it. Like, one of the most famous parts of Doom Eternal is when he needs to get into a portal that's in the core of Mars, but it would take too long to get there by traditional means. So then he sets the coordinates of his teleporter to take him to where the BFG 10,000 is, which is like the BFG 9,000, except it's an orbital space cannon. And the guy who's in his ship, giving him data and stuff, he goes, "You can't just blow a hole into the surface of Mars." And then literally the next mission is you going to the BFG 10,000, blowing a hole into the surface of Mars, and then just going to the core.
But
he just does what he wants.
Using the BFG, doesn't he? He uses the same gun to just send him there?
No,
he uses a different gun. Okay.
Yeah, because he blew a hole in the surface of Mars, and there was a base on the surface of Mars, so now there's all these fragments of Mars in between the surface and orbital cannon. So he uses an escape pod to get to one of those things, and then uses the gun to fire. He uses various modes of transportation. Like, he literally goes up to that giant gun, and the guy goes, "That is not a teleporter," and then he just gets in and uses it. He's so good. One thing I liked about it as well, in Doom 2016, there were so many times when you were in the UAC facility where you would hear this message saying, "Demonic presence at unsafe levels," right? And then it turns out, the UAC, like, Doom Guy basically shuts down their operation on Mars, but they're still going on Earth. When you get to their bases on Earth in Doom Eternal, you start killing monsters, and then you hear stuff over the tannoy going, "Slayer presence at unsafe levels." It's so awesome.
Well, there you go. Between the two, I think two equally tough characters in their own way.
One more thing. I was thinking of his fatal blow could be, like, assuming fatal blows and things are going to be an MK12.
I think there'll definitely be cinematics of some kind. Yeah.
Exactly, some sort of super move. It would just be like him slowly walking towards his enemy and just shooting at them with his wide arsenal of weapons. Like, there's the shotgun,
yes,
super shotgun, just going through all his guns, and when he gets up to them, he's got the BFG 9000 in his hands, and he just sticks it in their gut. And then you hear, like, some sort of guitar riff, as Doom Guy does, and then just pulls the trigger.
That would be that. I can see that happening, and you've kind of touched on the most impressive aspect of Doomslayer is his ability to carry a lot of stuff. He can carry a lot of stuff.
I think he exists by that classic video game logic of, what you got to do is just put something behind your back and it's just in your infinite pocket.
Oh, it's called Hammerspace. I found this out. It's called Hammerspace.
Oh, it's called?
Yeah, in the cartoons when like a cartoon character reaches behind and pulls out a massive hammer and smashes someone on the head.
Yeah, they call it Hammerspace.
It's called Hammerspace. Yeah. So
that's brilliant.
It's a legit thing when a character puts their hand behind them and then pulls out an unfeasibly massive object. And they just where they pull it from. They pulled it from Hammerspace. It's like, where does Baraka pull the skull from? He gets it from his Hammerspace.
Yeah. Now I know the name. That's brilliant. Yeah. They actually addressed that in one of the heists on GTA 5. You'd be driving along towards your destination, and there's your handler who's like giving you all the information, and he starts prattling on about all sorts of stuff, and he's like, sometimes you see a guy on the side of the street and just pulls a rocket launcher out of nowhere. Like, where's he keeping that thing?
Well, now we know
Hammerspace
it's in their Hammerspace, right? So that's our picks: Leeloo and Doom Guy. Right. So obviously we've got some graphics for the second one. So should we introduce our second characters? Yeah. All right. So here we go. There you can hang on. Oh, sorry, Carlton. Get out of the way. Right there we go. Who's your fave? As you can see, Chun-Li there. Everyone's favourite Fortnite character. Everyone's favourite Power Rangers character right now. Yeah, she's been farmed off. She's fought against the true might of the full SNK, as well as Marvel as well. She's done the rounds as Chun-Li, and they're taking her deserved photos in front of the paparazzi. Good old Chun-Li. Yes. All right. So yeah. Harps, who is your... do you want to do me or you? Should we flip a coin?
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to drink it in. I'm wondering where this who's your... Like, this talking about Ryu and Chun-Li, I was like, wait, what does this have to do with Mortal Kombat?
Well, they're guest characters. So they have been guest characters. In fact, that face is from her in Capcom vs. SNK. So you could say...
Wait, you mean that's not a legit photograph?
That's her posing at the launch of Capcom vs. SNK.
Ah,
yes,
makes sense now.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes,
away
yes.
From the cameras as
Exactly.
the best way to do it.
Yeah, well, yes. In fact, yeah, and the some would say if there was an original source model that she was also looking at the camera that was taking this photo. You can tell from the shape of the neck. But the
I mean, someone's taking this picture right now.
Yes, indeed. So anyway, but interestingly, see that face right there. All jokes aside, this is the Chun-Li artwork as drawn by the SNK artist. So this is like guest artwork for that game.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
fan art, you might call it.
Well, what it was when did a Capcom vs SNK? The Capcom staff did graphics and artwork for all of the characters, including the SNK characters, and the SNK staff also did artwork for all of the characters, the Capcom characters and the SNK characters. And when you chose your characters and their grooves, it chose which art style you got. So there's...
That's actually awesome.
It is. It's
awesome.
The Capcom vs SNK 2 as a should be put in a time capsule as a great achievement in video games, as well as fighting games in general. But it really is great. It is that good.
Nice.
Yes, it is that good. But anyway,
Yes, on to your second.
My second, yes, my second. Now, so we've had Leeloo. I wonder if people can get the pick up what I'm putting down here. Let me just make sure I've got actually correct artwork. I want to make sure I do have what I want. No, I don't want to use that one. Yeah,
I'm curious to see if I can figure out your theme between your characters.
Indeed.
It's
Iraklis. He's managed to come back from the garden centre.
He's no longer having dirt shoved where the sun don't shine.
Exactly. He's no longer pushing toadstool where the sun don't shine.
Oh man.
Right. So let me put this up here. Let me change that. My second choice, and this is going to take some people by surprise, much like my first choice did. There we go. Oh God, you shouldn't have done that. It shouldn't have gone so big. They shouldn't be so big. It's okay. I haven't made them visible yet. Only Harps knows what I'm talking about. Is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Know what your theme is?
Well, do you though? So Buffy the Vampire Slayer. As a teenage youth, young Apollonius Newton Boone III was heavily influenced by Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Buffy isn't actually my favourite Buffy the Vampire Slayer character. So Buffy is actually not my favourite. Wailing Man, good to see you again. it's Wailing Man. Hallelujah, it's Wailing Man. Oh man, yeah, Spike.
Yeah.
Spike is my favourite Buffy the Vampire Slayer character.
Yeah, I was thinking blonde guy. What's his
Spike.
name?
Spike is easily my favourite Buffy character, and then Buffy, and then who's the redhead girl?
Alison Hannigan.
Yeah, Alison Hannigan's character, Willow, and then Willow, and then Xander, and then I just give up after that. Really,
never really watched it, so
probably Willow's girlfriend after that one. So yeah, Buffy as a TV series back in that time of the mid to late 90s was not only groundbreaking because it brought comedy vampire violence to the big screen at 6 o'clock in the evening. It also introduced themes of gay relationships between their characters. It also introduced themes of the good guys don't have to necessarily get together, and maybe the bad guy is the main good guy all along. Spike. So yeah,
it's not at all that they wrote him to be a pure bad guy, and then people went, I really like this guy, and they were like, give him more screen time.
and her on-screen beau Angel was really unlikable. A lot of people didn't like Angel. A lot of people loved him. He got his own spin-off, but not a lot of people. I didn't like him. I didn't like Angel.
Yeah,
anyway,
you were waiting for the spin-off Spike.
Yeah. Yes, actually. Yeah, when the story arc shifted and Spike had an erotic dream with Buffy in it, and he woke up and he was like, did I just dream that? And then the story arc shifted. It was the best thing. It was the best thing in TV at the time. Have you watched Vampire?
Wait a minute. Do I find this beautiful woman attractive? No, the children who are wrong.
In fact, my older brother and Mrs. Still have a life-size Sarah Michelle Gellar cardboard cutout in their house, taken from the premiere of something that happened up where they are. But so they still have a full-size Sarah. Now, why Buffy? Well, come on, she's like one of the original tough girls. She really knows how to stick it to you if you're a vampire, and that
really man's type.
Exactly. She doesn't. She takes no prisoners. Literally takes no prisoners. Turns them into dust. It's very difficult to.
She couldn't take prisoners if she tried.
Exactly. She'd have to. It would just be. Ultimately, it would just be like a janitorial simulator. She would be literally using a dustpan and brush and but you get my point. She can't take prisoners because they're all dead and disappeared.
Kills them too hard.
She goes in very hard indeed. Plus, she's proficient in on-screen violence, the special brand of Hollywood kung fu that they use, which is basically what all the characters in Mortal Kombat do already. You feel that she's a template for a lot of moves that you would see in Mortal Kombat going forward. It's that sort of thing. She's backflipping everywhere and whatnot. And let's face it, she's pleasant on the eye.
She is a hideous creature. Get it off my screen right now.
So, yes. Joe Thibodeau, welcome home. How's it going? Good to see you again, General Joe. Good to see you. We're talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. As a guest character for MK12, possibly. If they don't put her in there, then I would be quite sad. Because she deserves it. She deserves it.
Prepare to be sad.
Prepare to be sad.
He's like, all right, how would you prepare to be sad? Tissues, I guess.
Prepare to be sad. Prepare for disappointment.
I must say, I didn't see that coming, but I think I'm cottoning on to your theme now. It's characters that you would like to introduce to your massive weapon.
That wasn't what I was going for, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Strong female fighters, I'm guessing, is your thing.
Iraklis, good to see you again. There we go. So I wonder if we could get Iraklis in on the call. That would be hype, wouldn't it?
You'd have to rearrange rearrange this screen again.
It could be done. All right. Anyway, so there's my. I mean, when it comes to finishing moves, obviously not everybody's a vampire. But let me tell you, when you introduce 12 inches of pointy wood into someone's chest, the result is much the same. So
the only difference is whether they dust or not.
Could it be the plot twist that everyone that she fights is actually a vampire to keep with the law?
Could it be that her proximity to people infects them with a virus that turns them into vampires, so she's in fact creating the problem that she then solves?
It's more like she's a vampire magnet. That kind of gets broached in the series, is that she's pretty much a violence magnet. All the bad stuff happens.
All the vampires are like, "Where's that one vampire? Let's go."
Yes.
Yes. Vampire Slayer. Sorry.
I think that's how it goes down. Ultimately, I think ultimately she has to sacrifice herself to destroy the portal that will save humanity or something like that. And then
that presents an opportunity. That presents an opportunity to test whether or not she would be a good fit for Mortal Kombat. So she sacrificed herself. Did she come back from the dead?
I don't know. I think Spike took her place. So I don't know. Or right, Angel.
If she did come back from the dead, she's perfect for Mortal Kombat.
Because everyone in Mortal Kombat gets better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's but a flesh wound. Now
it's the simultaneously best and worst thing about X-rays and then super moves and crushing blows in Mortal Kombat X and 11 is that Sunnydale High is on a vampire magnet rift. It is. So everyone in Mortal Kombat, the X-ray moves, they'll like Scorpions is the one that you'll see all the time. They get thrown in the air, they get shanked by a kunai, brought to the ground, literally snap their neck, and then they get up and walk it off.
It is just a flesh wound.
Yeah, it is. I mean, people are having their testes blown to pieces. People are having their literal heads blown off, and then they get up and walk it off. So
I mean, it's not just Mortal Kombat that does that. Like a lot of shooting games do that. There's that meme, a bullet during gameplay, it does nothing, but a bullet in a cutscene is like, oh, that's more serious.
This is actually very true, because you can heal yourself so many times. Yeah. Did Harp call me a nerd? And
what are you gonna do? Beat me at Soul Calibur? Oh god.
I forgot, sorry, my fifth favourite character in Buffy, the series, is actually Giles. Her purely platonic teacher buddy. Yes. Let's make sure we get that very, very straight. Tea-drinking Giles. Or, as I like to think of him, Nescafe Get It On Giles. Now, most folk in the chat will not be old enough to remember the old Nescafe adverts, where the guy who played Giles in Buffy the Vampire Slayer was the guy who moved in next door and needs to borrow a cup of sugar. No, he is the person next door who the girl who moves in next door needs to borrow a cup of sugar from. So it's a series of adverts for Nescafe instant coffee, and she comes in and knocks on his door, beautiful woman, and says, I've just moved in next door, I don't suppose I could borrow a cup of sugar. Seeing his opportunity, Giles, like Iraklis, says, come on in, I'm making some right now. And and as smoothly as he can, he pretends to be a coffee percolator while brewing up some instant coffee. So he's literally going, he's making noises of a coffee percolator, and he makes her an instant coffee, and she loves the coffee because obviously it's Nescafe, even though it's only instant coffee, not real coffee.
Sexist advert, man, sexist. Implying that the woman is so dumb she can't tell the difference between a real percolator and a...
I think what they were trying to go for was is that their coffee is really nice, but we know the truth, that Nescafe Instant's actually quite horrible. But anyway, these adverts go on and on and on, and they have a romantic encounter throughout these adverts, and eventually they actually hook up. So look it up, people. Yes, the Nescafe Gold Blend adverts from the 80s. You really got to look that up on YouTube because they are actual genius. Actual genius. And that's the guy from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, my 5th favourite character in this franchise. Anyway.
You said people in the chat might be too young to remember these. I was this close to saying, look, I think I'm too young to remember those. But as you described it, I was like, wait, do I remember those? Maybe I did. Yeah,
Anthony Head. Anthony Stewart Head. That's right. Okay, I've caved. I'm going to pull up a YouTube of the advert. Let me just get it. Oh no, what's he done? What's he done? We're going to get copyright struck. We're going to have the Nescafe Corporation Nescafe advert Anthony Head. There we go. There it is.
He says nice cup, Harps. It was a Christmas present from Stav a couple of years ago.
Right,
I use it every day.
I'm going to maximise that. I'm going to... Oh, I can't maximise, can I? I'm such a bulk. Alright.
I love the way the handle is a PS1 controller. The old school...
Oh, that's so cool, actually. That is really, really cool.
The DualShock came out.
It's really cool.
It's even got shoulder buttons on it, like.
Hang on a minute. I've already got a YouTube one. What is it? It would be a web browser? Display capture.
Oh, you're trying to add a source
yeah.
stream.
It'll be browser?
What's that Metal Gear Solid 3 quote? Yeah, it'd be browser source.
Browser source.
I was just thinking, yeah. Just thinking something you've only heard about in the heat of battle wasn't very smart.
Right, there's our source. URL.
Lucky says we literally went from Doom Guy killing people in MK12 to an effing nest. Not sponsored. Not a sponsor.
This is essential viewing, Lucky. Right, let's try that. Let's see if that's... Here we go. What? Hang on a minute.
This is the most professional.
But I'm already signed in. What is it doing? Oh, for God's sake. Okay, it's not that one. Whatever, it wasn't browser source, that's for sure. Hang on. I've done it now. I feel like I've hard committed, so I've got to do it.
Can you not download that YouTube video and then just play the video in a video source?
I found it.
Good.
I found it. There we go. Found it. Here, wanna buy some TVs? Where'd you get them? I found it.
Fell off a back of a truck.
Alright, here we go. Put the volume up. This might blow your ears off.
Hello. I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm having a dinner party and I've run out of coffee.
I remember this.
Thank you.
Look at that face.
You very much remember these. He's like, I'm in here, boys.
The coffee. Very successful.
How can you ever thank me?
I'll try and think of something.
I'm ready to hear what that is. What are you
What's happening tomorrow?
I'm inviting you for dinner.
Oh, this
is playing the audio into your microphone is the ideal way of capturing the audio. There's another man.
There's another man.
He's like, I can't help notice you've been poking my wife. She's like, yes, didn't I tell you I was married? He's like, well, see ya. Yeah, I should just do commentary on this. Yeah, you know, some real good coffee, Tony. Real good.
I want to see you.
Oh man, I could do with some coffee. Hello?
Yeah, coffee.
Of course you are, it's like midnight. She's like, so I hear your wait, what's that? I smell
the Italian.
Excellent. You didn't tell me. These adverts aren't long enough. Like, Buongiorno, I am Talion. I'm going to steal you away from Anthony Head. Would you like some coffee?
Yes, the Harperlarp.
It's like, no.
It's Italian. She talked offshore.
But then, it was...
I think we should really have the that's again here. Golden roasted.
Lucky says this looks like American Psycho. It really does. English Psycho. Would you like some gold blend? That's as horrific as it gets. No, I kill vampires on the side.
There we go.
What? the end.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a general compilation. That was like a cutscene of all of the cutscenes. Remember, they were all 30-second adverts. Budget went for a necklace. What a deep plot, though. That feels like it could be the plot to a mainline AAA movie. That's
more like a sub-par soap opera, maybe. I like the way I called Stab a nerd earlier for knowing something about Buffy, but Iraklis is literally posting maths, and I'm just saying nothing.
Okay. Sorry. Me and Sarah Michelle have taken up another. Sorry, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Who'd she marry in the end? She married her co-star that she was in a movie, Freddie Prinze Jr. So Sarah Michelle Gellar Prinze Jr. Have taken up enough of your time. But there we go. There's my, I feel, worthy inclusion. I would very happily pay DLC money for, and then some, to get into the game. Yes.
Yeah, Danny says, sounds like she married Ross Geller, probably divorced shortly after. No, she married Ross's dad. He had some Nescafe Gold Blend, and she was like, hey, Right.
Are you Italian?
Are you Italian? He's like, I don't know, do you like Italian?
Alright,
goodness.
character number 2,
Are we ready to
Harps.
move on?
Yes.
Alright, my second. I hope Lucky Luxor is sitting comfortably, because my second pick,
I'm
had
on
to
it.
be. My theme is not the same as yours. I thought, again, brutality. I need characters that are known for just being absolutely brutal. And in Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, play as a character called Talion.
How do you spell Talion?
Talion.
Got him. Oh, he looks like Tramp Aragorn.
That is not an inaccurate description. He's voiced by Troy Baker, so of course he's good. You guys haven't played Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War, you should, they're great. It's like Assassin's Creed if it had the violence of Mortal Kombat.
Well, I'll tell you what I have done, is it's like when you mentioned about, there's Talion on screen right there. Alright, replacing Carlton. So
that's him from the first game, yeah.
There we go. So I feel like because you mentioned something earlier, which was the Doom thing going into the core of Mars, and I watched you do that, the whole thing, and I thought, that it's like I was there. It's like I was there with Doom Guy. It's like I was on his shoulder cannon, and now I also have watched you play on stream Shadow of Mordor. I do feel like a hobbit, but that's generally on account of my unimpressive stature and hairy feet. But anyway, that's another story.
Yes, Talion. He's got a pretty interesting story. He's based for the short story is he died, but he didn't die properly. Because Celebrimbor, the guy who created the rings, the 9 rings in Lord of the Rings, the titular rings, he created those rings.
Pops, I've just read Lux's comment. It's getting up to the top of the screen right now. Imagine getting cucked from.
We don't have to imagine it. We just saw it.
we saw it play out.
We did. Big cucked. Yeah, she's like, I don't care about him, but his coffee. Oh man. He does make a mean coffee, and that's not a euphemism. Anyway, Talion, yes, basically.
His beans are roasted.
Yes. How do you like your beans in the morning? Fertilized. And he's like, what? Talion, he was basically got the ghost of Celebrimbor within him, like the wraith is like living within him, and it's keeping Talion alive, and it gives him all sorts of wraith abilities and powers and such. And the combat is very, very violent in that game. The many different ways you can kill, or like slicing their heads off, or piercing their chests with stylish moves, or cutting arms off giant big orc things called Ologs. It's pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal. And some of his abilities, I think these could be included as abilities if variations come back in Mortal Kombat 12. I'm not really sure I actually want abilities variations to come back, but I'm sure they will. I think that's now established as a Mortal Kombat thing. So some of the abilities he's got Dominate, so he can use his Wraith power to slap his hand on the mug of some unsuspecting fool, and literally just mind control them into being his slave. It's a bit dark, but who cares? He can turn them to his side, and then he can command them to do all sorts of things, like attack enemies over there, or perhaps even infiltrate through the upper ranks of their higher-ups, and like ambush their bosses to leave them open for an attack from Talion. Or he can just dominate them and then just hold his hand up and make their head explode. That's very Mortal Kombat. I can imagine Raiden doing that. He can do the Shadow Strike, which allows him to basically just teleport over to someone and do like a stealth kill. So he's got a teleport move, that could be funky. He's also got basically a reverse teleport where he just pulls them to him and does the same thing, does some sort of sneak attack. He can raise dead to fight for him. I'm not sure how that would really work in the setting of a Mortal Kombat game, because it's not like there's going to be bodies on the floor on every stage, but it is something he can do. Maybe they could work it into a fatal blow or something. He can do Elven Light, where he punches the ground, and in a certain radius, enemies become stunned and blinded, and it can be augmented to set them on fire, to poison them, or to freeze them. So that sounds like abilities that could be used. Like, the move itself could be universal, where it just stuns them briefly, but you can augment it, like attach an ability that freezes them when you do it, perhaps, something like that. He's got Elven Rage, and I was thinking this might be a fatal blow of sorts, where he basically activates the rage of Celebrimbor within him, and he launches a flurry of attacks, and every attack is basically a spirit ghost of Celebrimbor. So he'll start to swing his sword, and then Celebrimbor will be swinging the sword as Talion's already doing his next move, and it'll just be a big flurry of attacks. That could be kind of cool. He can also throw daggers, use a bow and arrow. He can slow time. He can just punch enemies and freeze them, so he doesn't even need to hit the ground. He can drain health from enemies. That could be cool in Mortal Kombat. It's like, give me some of that health, and I don't mean a pointless, pitiful pittance of health like Shang Tsung gets with his 2% that never saved anyone ever, and that is a fact. He can also ride animals and such, so I was thinking maybe one of his fatalities is he could ride a Graug, which is a big giant troll thing. He can ride that, have it throw a boulder at the enemy, just finish him,
Funnily enough,
run off screen.
Harps, funny enough, riding a Graug is what you didn't see in the Nescafe adverts, but that was one of the cutscenes.
Yeah, it was the Italian, then it was the Graug rider.
Yeah, riding the Graug.
So he can have the Graug throw a boulder at them and then smash them with his hands and then eat them. That would be very fitting for Mortal Kombat. You don't see much eating going on in Mortal Kombat outside of Raka and maybe Melina. And then I was thinking maybe his other fatality could be where he commands an army, because that's what he does in Shadow of War, and he could just tell his army to go and attack the opponents, and they can sort of stampede past the opponent and slice them with swords and hit them with maces as they're running past. And while this is happening, Talion can climb all the way up to this tall tower that suddenly came out of nowhere using Mortal Kombat logic. And then when the army has finished savaging his opponent and they're just there, like limbs falling off, and like, oh, I'm gonna die now, he can do a stealth dominate where he leaps from the top, lands on them, dominates them, and then explodes their head. I thought that could be a cool fatality.
He leaps on top, dominates them, and then explodes their head.
Yes.
Okay, alright, I see where you're going with this. Alright, I see.
There's no interpretation needed for that. Take it as it is.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't think Talion would make it as a guest, but he is a Warner Brothers character, so it would be easy for them to do it if they decided to make another game.
We have yet to talk about multiverses, but
yes, multiverses. I looked at the roster and I'm like, staggering how Superman and Batman and to a lesser extent Wonder Woman, yeah, they're cool, but I could not care less about the others. I mean, not going to be better than Smash, is it? And I've got Smash, and I never play it. And that's full of characters I do like. But yeah, so Talion, I think he would make a good fit. Just very violent and brutal in everything he does, and he's got the plethora of abilities that he has. It would be great to build custom variations with that character, I think. I think he'd be a good fit for the Mortal Kombat. So that's my number 2 pick for a guest character in MK12.
Fantastic, and such a worthy addition as well. I mean, look at him there, resplendent. Hobo Gordon, I think we'll have to call him.
Yeah, I'm thinking, in terms of the sword play, it would be kind of similar to Fujin, minus all the wind abilities. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from him. He was in Mortal Kombat. Oh, hi, Wit.
I mean, Wit as well. Welcome home in the chat. We mentioned, you were mentioning about variations. I hope they don't bring variations back. I'm done with variations. I'm so very much an old school player. When I say old school player, I mean literally every other fighting game in existence, where you pick a character and that's the character, and you don't have to choose what because by giving people choices, and I'm being very careful how I say choices, by giving people choices about what you decide you want to do, it means you're conversely losing stuff that you can't do. Why not just give us 100 moves and you have them all? I'd like to have
like
that.
A true Tekken player.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm actually I'm very proficient at Virtua Fighter, which is a game of only about 2,500 moves rather than 5,500, which is Tekken. Yeah, every Virtua Fighter character actually has more moves than your average Tekken character. But there are only 19 Virtua Fighter characters.
Yeah, they do have a lot of moves, to be fair.
And it's a 3-button game.
A lot of them are really boring and basic, but yeah, they got a lot of moves.
Yeah, but 3-button game instead of 4 buttons, and you get more moves. I don't know. It's like game developer maths. I don't know how they do it. Right.
Wizardry is what it is.
Is it? Speaking of wizardry, Talion.
Another thing about variations is, if there's no variations, like if there's just like, here's Sub-Zero, this is him, you don't have to learn 17 different matchups. Someone picks Sub-Zero. You don't have to pay attention to what moves they've got and try and pick a variation of your character that matches that. You just go, I'm this character, they're that character, let's get it on.
Exactly. All right, so you've missed, Whitney, the some of the slides that we brought on, but what we've done is to introduce each level of characters. So we've had I've chosen a theme for the slides that I pull up here, and that is fighting game characters from their fighting games that have also been guests in other games. So we have had. Let me just do this. Actually, let me just raise the priorities so that we don't get it overrun. That's something I forgot to do before. All right. Alright, so we've had, as you can see, Ryu there, who, as you can see, incredibly popular, and has been in a number of different games. That's actually his face from Teppen, the card game. There's a card game with Ryu in it, and a lot of other Capcom fighting game characters, and that's not even from a fighting game, that's from a card game, right there. Chun-Li from Capcom vs SNK2, right there. And my favourite, let me just get rid of them. We're introducing our third character now. This next guy has been gifted to a bunch of different fighting games, and wherever he goes, he seems to bring death and destruction. Who am I talking about? Of course, it's Akuma. As you can see.
Oh god,
as you can see, everybody wants him until he turns up, and then they realise they don't want him anymore. That's exactly. So Akuma is there. They're all up for it to start with, and then when he's on their lap, they realise he smells quite badly. They would rather he had maybe paid more attention to personal hygiene rather than personal training.
Yeah, he tells people that those tears in his jeans are just part of the style of the time, but it is in fact the funk from his legs breaking through the fabric.
Those trainers, those high tops, have not seen the light of the washing machine for some time. I'm trying to see if any of the ladies are regretting their choices. I think the girl behind his top knot is beginning to regret her choice right there. But
that's because she's grabbing his armpit. She doesn't have the best feel.
Okay, so that's just bulk flexing. There we go.
That way, can you go back to that picture a second, please? Right, that one. Two in from the left, the one that's giving almost an evil glare.
Yes.
She's got her hand closest to his crotch. I think that's why she's looking like that. She's like, this. I'm getting away with this.
This is very true. This is very true. So you can see one closest to the camera in the red dress is clearly she knows she's on camera and she's going to go politely for above the belly button. Not so the girl third from the left. She's straight in there.
She's like, I'm not going to be the genesis of the Men Too movement. Oh god. To be fair, I don't think he is there against his will. To be honest.
He's getting paid. Well, there's the thing. That man is getting paid to be there. So is Akuma in every game he's a DLC for. So
Akuma's like, people think it's about the honor, about how I want to fight strong opponents.
Yeah,
no, I just go with the money. It's like, they're in black.
Akuma's there going, Metsuts, show me the money. Show me the Metsuts is what he's doing. Yes.
Suffer for a price.
You know when he does Raging Demon, it's like always like 1,000 hit combo. That's just the counter on his bank account going.
It's a 27 hit combo, and he goes, I do one hit for $1,000. Oh man, that's brilliant.
Okay. Anyway,
$1,000 a hit.
Third character. Let me get. Where's Carlton? There you go.
Sorry, Danny with the great pun there. He's like, Masatsuko, show me the money. That's brilliant. Oh goodness gracious.
Oh man, 195.3 thousand channel points away from an Injustice 2 set.
I'm eons away from a Mortal Kombat set.
I think I set Injustice 2 even higher than Mortal Kombat. I think I set it for 250,000.
I thought I saw the other day one of them was 750,000 points.
Probably.
There it is.
Which one was it?
In Mortal Kombat, 750,000 points. Because you really don't want to play Mortal Kombat.
Yes. Injustice is 250,000. 750k.
That tells you everything you need to know about Bulk and Mortal Kombat. How much for a set on Tekken?
It's going to be like 500 or
500.
something.
Just 500.
Or
if we want to fight you on Guilty Gear Strive, you'll give us 1,000 points.
They're not registered. They're not marked because they're free. Okay. All right, Carlton, come to my rescue here. My third character, and this is. There's a theme. There's a theme. So Whitney, just to bring up to speed, we had on Harps's side. Let me just get this right. We had this dude here. We had the Doomslayer. Then I also went for to give her full incorrect name. I asked for Leeloo Dallas Multipass, or just Leeloo from the Fifth Element. Of course, right? She kicks bottom, xenomorph or otherwise, and then I went for my girl here, Buffy. She's very big.
Why did you say that like Timmy from South Park?
Buffy. Yes. Why not? Timmy. Now, my third choice. What was your second choice? We just had him on the screen, Talion. Yes, we had Talion, you just saw that. And this is my third choice.
In front of that. If Apple made him, he'd be Italian.
Beatrix Kiddo. Beatrix Kiddo, or as you all know, Uma Thurman from Kill Bill. This girl, and by now, my theme has probably become self-apparent. My theme is girls who are unfeasibly tough in film and TV, movie and TV. So Leeloo, Buffy, and I mean Harps was wide of the mark when he said it's characters who Bulk would like to introduce to his massive weapon. I wouldn't go anywhere near Beatrix Kiddo. I've seen what she does to people who went there. Yeah.
Well, she does it for revenge. So all you got to do is just not on her bad side. Seems like a reasonable person.
Do you have any idea how much pressure that puts on you to perform when you know that she's only going to kill you out of revenge? What if you have an off day?
All you got to do is just never get on her bad side. How hard is that?
Yeah, but the stress that puts on you to perform when you're consummating the date, if you know what I mean.
Some of us are more susceptible to that pressure than others.
Exactly. This is when you've got her. She's next to her bedside cabinet. Next to her bedside dresser is her Hanzo Hitachi sword. Okay, it is her blood-stained yellow biker outfit.
I'm sorry. Did you just call the Hattori Hanzo a Hanzo Hitachi?
What did I say?
Hitachi sword?
I meant Hattori Hanzo. What am I talking? The Hattori Hanzo.
You said Scorpion sword.
I said Scorpion sword. I meant. I'm such a bulk. Yes, I mean it's even written there on the blade. If I could have just zoomed in a little bit more.
You zoom in, it just says no mussy.
Yes. So let's bring her up in all her glory. Anyway, why Beatrix Kiddo, aka the Bride, aka Beatrix Kiddo? What was her Deadly Viper Assassination Squad name? It was
the Black Mamba.
She wasn't Black Mamba.
It was because the one who Daryl Hannah was playing. Oh no, not her. The one who Vivica Fox.
Vivica Fox,
Vivica Fox.
Yeah.
Near the beginning of the film, she said Black Mamba. I should have been Black Mamba.
Okay, so she's Black Mamba. Okay, and that's why Daryl Hannah throws the Black Mamba at Bud. Yeah, got it. Yeah, okay, make it look like it was her. But anyway, I mean, she takes on the whole gang of the Crazy 88s and kills and eviscerates all but one of them.
Yeah.
Literally all but one of them. The entire gang turn up. She takes out the whole gang, plus their cheerleader, Gogo Yabari, the psychotic girl with the ball and chain.
I can only say evil receptionist, Sophia Fatale.
Thank you. Yeah, there you go. So Sophia, takes her arm off as well. She's hacking and slicing, but that's just as I would like to say, scratching the surface of this flesh wound. What could she do as an up-close cinematic apart from pluck your eyeball from its socket?
I know.
And then step on it? Oh, are we talking brutal enough here? Are we talking brutal enough? Maybe bury you alive, and then punch your way out of it. I mean, that's something she's experienced in. She could
with the 3-inch punch.
Indeed, with Pai Mei's cruel tutelage. Just another sword character. It's not Fire Emblem. What are you talking about? But yes, of course. And then
there aren't many sword characters in Mortal Kombat 11, aren't there? The Scorpion. Who else uses a sword in MK11?
There's a tragic lack of sword characters in MK11. There used to be Kenshi, along with Scorpion.
Kotal's got a sword.
I do actually have two swords, but let's leave it here.
More like a slab of concrete.
Yes.
Danny's saying Sub makes his own in axe. Yeah, but I said 11, mate.
No, he's always had an axe.
Oh, in MKX he had daggers and a sword. He was Cryomancer variation.
Shankety shank. Yes.
And people didn't like the fact that he changed to axes.
Yes. Well, yeah, to like ninja knives. Yeah,
Colt and Scorpion. I don't think anyone else uses a sword, do they? In MK11.
but of course we're missing out on her grand finale, the 5-finger exploding palm punch of doom. What a finishing move! Let there be a 5-button input to be able to do the 5-point exploding heart punch, please. And then
It's like the least flashy Raging Demon you've ever seen.
Yes, exactly. Well, Raging Demon is 5 buttons. Let's not forget that.
First bear forward XR1. Oh yeah, you're right.
It is. Or light punch, forward, light kick, heavy punch. If you
What you're saying is
want to be correct.
Kill Bill liberally stole from Street Fighter.
Yes,
Or
I am
the other way
saying
around.
that. I am saying that. And the band, the rock band, 5-Finger Death Punch, also stole from Kill Bill, which stole from Street Fighter, of course. Yes, so
Street Fighter's up to his knees in lawsuits.
it's okay. They'll just farm Ryu and Chun-Li off to like a MOBA or something. You're going to see Ryu
They're
and Chun-Li. Panda is going to see Ryu and Chun-Li skins in Vanguard. So in World War II in the Pacific, they're going to see Ryu and Chun-Li.
Boots on the ground.
Yes.
Oh man.
So yeah, let it be a 5-button input, and then the opponent is feeling fine. You can imagine Johnny Cage just looking around, thinking he's just been hit, but he's feeling fine. Turns around to walk away, and then, bam! 5 steps later, their heart explodes. You can get a cinematic for that because it's Mortal Kombat after all. Yeah,
Of
course.
They'd have to give that line that the bandit gives in Skyrim when you cast Calm on him. He goes, "I don't know what you just did. I don't feel any different."
Yeah, exactly. I'd forgot. I hope someone let the terms through. Yeah, thank you. You did. Yes.
Yeah, I've been letting them through when I see
them. Good. Yes, so that's my number 3 pick. So, badass girls: Leeloo, Buffy, Beatrix Kiddo. What do you say?
I like it.
Thank you. I hope, and it's thematic, and it goes with my tie.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah,
Alright.
blue and yellow, black and yellow. It's the same.
It's all the same to certain visually impaired people. Yeah. Right. Who am I searching for?
Okay. Remember a few days ago, Bulk, when you said, should we tell each other our picks so that there aren't any conflicts?
Yes.
Do you know where I'm going with this? Because unbelievably, my 3rd pick is Beatrix Kiddo.
Yes! Let's go! Let's go!
This is why, right? This is why I knew facts about the film when you said, "Oh, what was her name?" I said Black Mamba, because I've been researching it today. I know these things.
Can we get some Sun Killims in the chat, please? Let's go.
Oh, yes.
Sun Killim
Let's go, Sun
and
Killim.
thanks combos, because that's worthy of both.
Yes. I was considering someone else, but then I changed my mind. We'll go over that in the honourable mentions before we move on to our joke guest character.
Indeed.
But I was saying to my dear mother earlier, I was like, I need like a brutal character that's known for just like savagery and just like loads of blood and gore. And I said to her, I was thinking about Samuel L. Jackson's character in Pulp Fiction, but he doesn't really do that much killing, does he?
And when he gets the chance, he kills someone by accident, and then when he tries to blow someone's head off, he misses. And he does. I will rain down upon you with furious anger. So he does kill him quite deliberately.
He kills that guy, but it was John Travolta that shot Marvin in the face.
Yeah, that's right. John Travolta.
Fun fact, in case people don't know, Marvin in that film was played by Phil Lamar, who voices, among other people, Kotal Khan and Aquaman in Injustice and Hermes from Futurama. That's the guy that got shot in the face by John Travolta in Pulp Fiction. I was doing some research for Beatrix Kiddo, and I was like, Beatrix Kiddo would be awesome because, when you mentioned the fight against the Crazy 88, fun fact, there are actually only about 50 of them, but they edit it to make it look like it's 88. That fight is 9 minutes long. 9 minutes 21 she takes to kill all those people. but one. Of course, she kills Go-Go, the bodyguard, with the chain, spike ball on a chain. She kills Oren Ishii by slicing off her head in a very Mortal Kombat style fatality. It reminds me of MKX when Scorpion slices the face off. She doesn't kill Bud, but she kills...
She doesn't get to kill Bud. She's on her way to kill Bud, but Bud's already dead.
Exactly. And then she kills... What's her name? Elle.
Yes.
Kills her by plucking the eye out.
Her only good eye. She plucks the eye out and leaves her in the cabin with dead Bud and the snake. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's presumed dead. Obviously, I mean, these are just some notes I took. She's a skilled assassin, able to utilize nearby objects skillfully as weapons. Like, she can pick up almost anything and just make it a weapon. And she's a martial arts expert, trained by both Bill and Pai Mei. And as such, she's proficient in the tiger style, the crane style, and the snake style of Hung Gar Kung Fu. So she doesn't need weapons.
And self-professed more than proficient in the art of Japanese sword. To which Pai Mei scoffs. Yes.
She has extreme sword mastery, including at one point during the Crazy 88 fight, she wields 2 katanas and starts doing Eddie Goro style capoeira moves and just cutting people's ankles off.
Yes,
and there were 2 moments during that Crazy 88 fight that I had to mention because I laughed when I watched it earlier. Right? There's one guy that throws a tomahawk at her, so she just turns around and catches it, as you do, right? And then he throws another tomahawk at her, and she just does a Tobey Maguire style back up and just watch it fly past. It kills some other guy, and then she just returns the first tomahawk back to the guy and kills him. But the best part of the whole fight, second best, because obviously there's the bit where she spanks that other guy's butt and tells him to go home to his mommy. The second best part is when she jumps onto a guy's shoulders. She stood on his shoulders while she's surrounded by all these bad guys. She cuts off his hands with her sword, and then she does a front flip off him, and on the way down, completely cleaves another guy in 2 with her Hattori Hanzo sword.
That's when it goes black and white, doesn't it? Like there's a...
Yeah, because they're like, we've shown enough blood now.
Yes.
I can't believe we both chose Beatrix Kiddo. She's got a number of costumes. Obviously, the iconic yellow jumpsuit here, but there's the iconic beige jacket and blue jeans.
Yes.
After
she takes out the first guy.
Yeah. In the film.
Yeah.
You can have her in a bridal gown. That would have to be a costume, of course.
Of course. The old channeling and Nina Williams there.
Exactly. I mean, I think it's safe to say that Tekken is, with abandon, copying Kill Bill, let's say. Obviously, there's the 5-finger pattern point heart explode technique. That would obviously be a fatality. She's also proficient with guns. She claims, according to the trivia, she claims in the film to be a better shot than some famous sharpshooter from American history. But she doesn't really tend to use guns. She tends to use the weapons that are more up close and personal. She can fight in all sorts of different terrains. I mean, one thing I found was a stark contrast that I didn't really notice when I first watched it was when you see the Crazy 88 fight, it is just bombastic, it's huge, it's in a big restaurant, there's so many people, so much blood, she's got all these like elegant moves going on, there's a bit of comedy in there, and then when she's fighting Elle in Bud's trailer, it's just, there's no music, there's no finesse, it's just ugly, brutal, savage, just no talking, it's just a complete contrast of those 2 types of style.
It's like trying to put every cinematic style into 2 movies, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I forgot how much I love Kill Bill. It's so good.
Both volumes. I love both volumes. They speak volumes to me. Yeah.
So I completely forgot how brutal she was until I was watching those clips earlier, and I was like, yeah, she would be great in Mortal Kombat. Plug your eye out, that could be a crushing blow or something. So yeah,
brutality. I think it would have to be a brutality. It would have to maybe a brutality.
Yeah, brutality. Yeah, she's like, boom, see you later. So yeah,
although knowing Mortal Kombat, it will probably be her regular throw animation, and you get to do it 12 times around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you said, okay, who's next, Beatrix Kiddo, I thought, but I haven't told him yet. Oh man, this is this is serendipitous.
I think what we've done is we've narrowed it down. There's going to be definitely one guest character in MK12, and it's going to be Beatrix Kiddo.
Gotta be.
It's got to be now. It's got to be. Why isn't she in a fighting game right now? Probably because the rights are just too expensive.
Did actually. I was trying to make most of my picks Warner Brother characters just for the sake of it being easy. I mean, obviously, Dungai's not Warner Brothers, but I couldn't not have him in. Talion's Warner Brothers, and my character I had in that I replaced with Beatrix was also Warner Brothers, but she's a much better fit for the Mortal Kombat game.
I see. Okay, well, that's what a solid bunch of picks we have there. I'm not going to lie, what a solid bunch of picks. Fist bump up top there. Fist bump up top.
Bump down below.
There you go.
Wait. I like to put this down.
There we go. He likes a downward fist. Does Harps? I prefer the upward. Yes, action. As Iraklis was finding out earlier with his date. Now we're going to move on. Change the bed. I can't believe we've done 3 characters and we haven't changed. We've only changed the bed twice. So how unprofessional of me. Leeloo, Buffy, Talion, and the Bride. Yes, and Doomguy. Yeah, I don't know. I saw Doomguy and read Leeloo. I don't know. I don't know what. I always feel that. Okay, now honourable mentions. Honourable mentions. Now we've had slides. We saw Akuma, being surrounded by the lovely ladies. We saw Chun-Li. We saw Ryu. Now, here's a character who he's been a guest character in some very high-profile games. Probably the highest profile, possibly fighting game of all time. Honourable mentions. It's Kazuya Mishima. As you can see, his partner is not happy. Yeah.
His electric wind godfist was not performing. Like, honestly, trust me, babe. Normally I can do 2 in a row. Come on.
Okay.
It's a just frame input. You don't understand.
It doesn't always happen like this. I just didn't get my just frame.
Yeah. Man, but you don't understand. He sidestepped left. I wasn't expecting it. I was considering Kazuya very briefly.
Yeah.
For one of mine.
Alright.
Saying that Tinder date went poorly.
Okay, so for honourable mentions, I'm going to just hide Carlton. There we go. You guys have no idea why I keep calling him Carlton, the picture in the middle, but that's okay. Now, characters who I thought were worthy, but I couldn't pick them because I had a theme and I ran with it. And these guys just didn't make the cut. Now, on that theme of badass girls, Makoto Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. For those who don't know who she is, it's the girl from Ghost in the Shell. For those who saw the what's her name? Black Widow.
Johansson.
Yes, Scarlett Johansson version. It's that character, but the one that isn't Scarlett Johansson, the one that is plausibly called Makoto Kusanagi. Along with that theme, Celine from Underworld. Kate Beckinsale in leather. Kate Beckinsale in leather with guns. Oh yes.
Another gun character, I'm not sure. Okay.
Well, is she a gun character or is she more a vampire stakey character? But yes, she's got guns. And I had Gogo Yubari. So it was either Beatrix or Gogo was going to be my pick, but yeah, Gogo Yubari. I wish I got pictures for all these guys now, but it was just too much work.
If the audience doesn't know who that is, it's the one that's dressed like a schoolgirl with massive resting bitch face.
And the reason why she's dressed as a schoolgirl is because she is a schoolgirl. That's her law. In Japan, you are in school uniform up to and including the age of 19 years old.
Because in Japan, they very, very creepily sexualize and fetishize school uniforms. It's
that's because you're going out clubbing in Tokyo or Osaka in your late teens. You're going out in your school uniform, and oftentimes there's some sugar daddyism going off over there and whatnot. I can say that because I said something else I shouldn't have said earlier on stream anyway. I might cut that out. Anyway, the next thing, the last of the girls, let me just get that right, is that the last of the girls? Yes. Last of the girls was Sadako If you don't know who she is, she's the girl from The Ring.
Oh.
She's the girl in the bottom of the well with the hair.
I feel like if you punched her, you just take her out.
Now, for the Danny Sadiqs in the chat who don't know movies, okay, she's like Hisako from Killer Instinct, except more evil.
You should have said the girl from The Grudge, because Sarah Michelle Gellar was in the American Grudge.
It's like the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, isn't it? Like, all of my picks can be linked by Sarah Michelle Gellar.
6 Degrees of Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., whatever.
I would love to see the 6 Degrees of Sarah Michelle Gellar. That's probably a specialist movie. Anyway, and then moving on to the guys, I had Riddick from Vin Diesel in his mumble growling excellence as Riddick from Chronicles of Riddick and Pitch Black. Neo. How could you not want to have Neo in a video game? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Her Japanese name is Sadako, yes. Why would I watch it in English? What? Here's a left field pick. Flash Gordon. Flash! Ah, do, he saved every one of us. Do.
These are the honourable mentions from your joke list, right?
No. No, not at all.
That film was classic. It was awesome.
Flash Gordon is a film that everyone needs to have in their lives. And, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
Roadman! Aye!
Yes, and then dive! Brian Blessed. So I went after that point. I went on to own a number of cars and still do that sound like Brian Blessed stubbing his toe. Yeah, that's when I'm fitting when I'm getting an exhaust optimized for my car and matching it to the size of the engine. That's what I think of. Brian Blessed stubbing his toe.
That's brilliant. Brian Blessed. National treasure.
He is indeed. Roy Batty. For those who don't know who Roy Batty is, well, I'm sorry, was Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner. His character in Blade Runner is Roy Batty, the 4-year-old. Yes, Tears in the Rain. Well, in the final scene, he's dying. He can't feel his hands anymore because he's dying. He's reaching the end of his lifespan. He shoves a nail through his hand just so he can feel something again. That's why you see, and then he's clutching a dove because he's feeling all remorseful and whatnot while trying to kill Harrison Ford, and then has a change of heart right at the end because he's dead.
He was conflicted.
Yes, exactly. He was very conflicted. But yes, that's Roy Batty, superb, superhuman character. Because obviously he was an android, and a superhuman character, huge superhuman strength and speed, etc., etc. And Rutger Hauer. Yeah,
Don't know him from anything else.
The Highwayman. What was the Hitchhiker? Rutger Hauer was a hitchhiker. No, you know. Oh, come on. That was that Harrison Ford's best role? I should think so because it was my #1 movie of all time. So yes. Who else did I have? Oh,
it's a pretty good role, but let's not forget he's Indiana Jones.
Speaking of vampires, Blade.
I was thinking Blade when you mentioned what's the name from Underworld. I was like female Blade.
Yeah, female Blade. Yes, Blade. Wesley Snipes in pre-tax evasion supremacy.
Did you see The Expendables 3?
Wesley was in Expendables 3.
He was. They have to bust him out of jail, and they say, "Oh, so what were you in for?" And he looks at the camera and goes, "Taxes." It's brilliant.
He did his time. He's paid for the crime. There we go. Someone that you'll like, a namesake that you'll enjoy, Snake Plissken. Escape from New York.
Yeah, Solid Snake was based on that guy.
Exactly, yes. So Snake Plissken, Kurt Russell's character in Escape from New York, going even older in the things now. Dirty Harry, Clint Eastwood. You're feeling lucky, punk. That guy.
Yeah.
So he runs everywhere with a Magnum, and you know the iconic line is, "Now I know what you're thinking. Did he shoot 6 bullets or just 5?" In all the excitement.
All this excitement.
Yeah, I kind of lost track myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out he only shot 5 and he blows him in half.
Yeah, because he doesn't say, "Do you feel lucky, punk?" That's the misconception. He says, "Do you?" You have to ask yourself one question: Do you feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Yes, that's right. Do you feel lucky? Dirty Harry. Old Boy. If you go back and watch Old Boy, the Korean movie, with no martial arts training and just push-ups and smashing the heck out of his apartment, he becomes a one-man rolling death ball. Literally.
It's a really good film.
It is. And that sideways scrolling scene where he's going down the corridor and he's picking up whatever weapons are around. Like, he picks up a hammer and he goes at. He just goes at people. Only Bulk would know these characters. Yeah, the guy in Old Boy for sure. I
saw the remake with Thanos in it. It wasn't as good.
No, because he's not as tough as the guy from Old Boy. But cutting off his own tongue, shanking the judo expert with the scissors, and all of that. It's great. Couple of ones that didn't make my... 3 more that didn't make my cut. John Wick.
Of course.
Controversial, because he doesn't touch people unless it's a fatality.
That's pretty much true. Yeah.
He moves. His movement options are fatalities. So he'll roll over you, shoot you in the head twice. That sort of thing.
Jason, like Zoom guy. He's like, if I'm going over to that enemy, they're going to be dead within 2 seconds.
Exactly. Jason Bourne, or as we like to say from Team America, Matt Damon. But yeah, Jason Bourne. Now, I excluded Jason Bourne because his suite of skills is so vast that you don't have the chance in a fighting game to explore all of them. Like, he can drive any vehicle, he can crack any computer, he can do everything. So his skill set is so vast that I figured it's just too much. You're only going to be doing the fighting bits, and that's there we go. And my final one that didn't make the cut, and I'm really quite sad about this because he's my favourite comic book hero of all time, is Judge Joseph Dredd. No, not that one, not the Stallone one, the actual one. I am Lord.
There's another one?
Well, yes.
I know
there's the Carl Urban one, which is actually gold. Made my top 25, actually. It did make my top 25. Yeah. But obviously, my love is in the comics, of which I have assorted volumes over yonder on the bookcase as it goes. Yes.
There's a Judge Dredd skin, in fact 2 Judge Dredd skins in Warzone.
It was, when I saw that, I was really tempted to download Warzone. The
trouble is, they added like Rambo as a skin, and it's actually Rambo. They added John McClane as a skin, it's actually John McClane. But the Judge Dredd skins are a skin for a guy who's already in the game called Beck. So it doesn't have Judge Dredd's voice, it's his voice, but they just recorded some new lines of dialogue, like, if you do a finishing move on someone in that skin, it goes, Judge, Jury, and Executioner.
Yeah, there's some more iconic stuff like that than that, and, I'd want to have Judge Dredd in there and be done justice. I wouldn't want him in another game, I wouldn't want there to be an injustice. Thank you.
So good.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was just drinking it in for a moment.
So there's my honourable mentions. So yeah, just to remind you, we're going through our honourable mentions here. Kazuya didn't make the cut, as you can see. Literally didn't make the cut. He's a disappointment. Yeah. There we go.
Definitely didn't make something.
Yes, exactly. He didn't reach the end. Okay, so Harps, what are your honourable mentions?
Right. Okay. Well. Okay. I only have one honourable mention for my legit list. I did briefly think about Neo, because as Bulk said, how could you not? No. But then I started thinking about intros and outros, and I thought, but he's so boring and personalityless in that franchise. But you know who isn't boring and personalityless in that franchise, Bulk?
Morpheus?
No. Agent Smith.
Oh, of course.
I was going to say, and also Warner Brothers character.
Yes.
It's like Agent Smith.
Agent
He would be
Smith.
good. Like his intro could just be him going like, his crazy comical laugh and everything. Then I thought to myself, he's not brutal enough. He's not known for brutality, is he? He's good at fighting. He'd be a great kung fu character. He's not very brutal, so I had to take him out, and I did replace him with Beatrix Kiddo. Oh, there was actually another honourable mention as well, who was another Warner Brothers character, Beetlejuice.
Of course!
Could be good.
Of course!
Then I realised it might be a bit too similar to the Joker. Like, he'd be like that sort of kind of character. And I know he does kill people, but it's not that brutal. I was just thinking, one of his fatalities could be he rides a giant sandworm and stuff.
One question, that raises an interesting point, is that if obviously Warner Brothers and NRS are involved in Batman being in games, and if you put Beetlejuice in a game, it's now down to will Michael, and we've seen where Christopher Lambert and the original actors for Johnny Cage and Sonya have been drafted in for work on their characters in the game. How many games could Michael Keaton be in at one time? Because he could voice original Batman, 89 Batman. He could come in as...
I'm sorry, Adam West would disagree. Original Batman, please. Yeah, but I see what you mean. Yeah, he could be Batman.
He could be Batman. Beetlejuice, yes.
He could be... I had it just now. He could be the Vulture in some sort of Marvel versus fighting game.
He could
be
the
Vulture in some Spider-Man films.
If you had New RoboCop, he could be the bad guy from New RoboCop. But yeah.
Yeah, but if you had New RoboCop, you'd lose sales. probably best to not do that.
I really like New RoboCop. Not a lot of people do, but I really like it.
I watched it and I thought that wasn't the eye-rippingly terrible mess I was expecting it to be. You're comparing it to legit one of the greatest films ever made. You just have to. Up the bit where you see what's left of him, and it's like that was a disturbing scene. It was like no action in it. The most action you saw was the training sequence. It's basically all the action in the film, and I was like, where's the brutality that RoboCop's known for? But they focus too much on his family and his humanity. Oh no! So yeah, I didn't really care. There's a lot
of shooty gun stuff, but it feels like it's an origin movie that needs a sequel.
Yeah. It didn't feel like it was rated 18 like the original was. I mean, I didn't see a guy fall into toxic waste and then become juice on the bonnet of a car.
This is
true.
That. This is true. Yeah. Or even your hero getting Jackson Pollock to cross a warehouse floor. You didn't see that happen.
So those are my two honourable mentions for the legit guest. Shall I roll straight into the honourable mentions for the joke guest pick?
Yeah, and I don't have a graphic, unfortunately, for the joke. All I can do is bring up Kazuya again. There you go.
Yeah, do it. Yes. Okay. Right, so Kazuya's looking at us like, why must you keep showing my shame? So we decided.
I didn't realise I left the door open.
It's like you don't have permission to film here. So
I like how in that photo she's fully clothed.
Yeah, he looks. He's like, that's how bad of a job I did.
If you look at it again, she's fully clothed. He's still got his jeans and his boxer shorts on. He didn't even get that far.
Yeah, because he tried to do One Electric Wind God first, and it didn't work. And she's like, really? How much of a scrub?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god. Yeah, she said get good, and it just, those words shook him to his very core.
That really was a wave dash. Yeah.
You wave dash your way out of here. So yeah, we decided to do three genuine guest picks that we would love to see in the game, and then a joke guest pick. So some considerations I was thinking about. These are all Warner Brothers characters again. That was a theme I was going for, because you've got to keep it realistic when you're going for joke guest characters. So I briefly considered the Brain from Pinky and the Brain. I used to love Pinky and the Brain as a kid, but then I realised
What are we doing tonight, Brain?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. I to take over the world.
Perfect.
Maurice Mamash, I think, was his voice actor. He does a lot of great work. Did a lot of work in Futurama as well. So there was the Brain. I didn't know if I could talk about him, how you could do him in Mortal Kombat. I literally googled Warner Brothers characters, and I was going through them alphabetically to just see which ones would be good picks. I briefly stopped on Carlton Banks.
Yay!
Prince.
There's Carlton.
Imagine him in Mortal Kombat, but I decided against it. And then I was thinking Wile E. Coyote.
Loki,
I
best
decided against
cinematic artist of our lifetimes.
I was thinking he would be good, but we need to go bigger. Bear with me a second. Just need a prop.
This seems like a big prop.
From over here. Oof.
Oh, we got a full frontal harp shot right then.
A full frontal harp shot. Right, I need to put that down there. Get my laptop back, baby. Here we go. Right, this is my guest pick. I would love to see this guy in Mortal Kombat 12.
I'm just doing the Carlton down here, so.
Yeah, you keep doing it. Do. That's enough because of copyright reasons. Imagine, if you will.
You can do 4.5 seconds. You're fine. Yeah.
Yes. Imagine, if you will, this guy as a guest in Mortal Kombat 12. Godzilla! And I am not talking about scaling him down to their size. I mean full-size, actual Godzilla. So what you can see is up to the lower half of his shin. That's all you see on screen.
So it's like in the Marvel versus games, in the one-player mode, you'll get to play against Galactus, and it'll just be the head of Galactus and the hand coming in and stuff.
Except he'd be completely playable. He'd have all his moves, but you wouldn't see half of
Well,
them.
they do that in Power Rangers now. In Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, one of your assists, it's a team game, you can put a Megazord on your team, and every now and again, a foot comes in, or if you call the assist, a tail comes in, and that's it. It's
can you have Dragonzord as an assist?
I think that's what they were talking. Yeah, Dragonzord. Yeah. The one, because a tail definitely comes in.
Dragonzord's the greatest because it's Mecha Godzilla, but in Power Rangers.
Yeah, but you can also get Ryu and Chun-Li, so you know.
They're in everything.
They are in everything.
They're the Troy Baker of video games.
Yeah, they have to pay for all the lawsuits.
All the lawsuits they're going to win because Kill Bill copied them and Five Finger Death Punch copied them, so they're going to win these lawsuits, but they're going to pay up front.
Exactly. Yeah. What a dark
dystopian universe we've created.
Now,
imagine trying to fight Godzilla.
Yeah, but
he does his atomic breath, and the screen just goes completely blue because the atomic breath is 20 meters wide as a beam.
The thing is that you guys know me very well. In Buckingham Palace, you're never more than about 2 meters away from a Godzilla. You're never more than about 2 meters away from a Godzilla in any direction. We've got so many of them around. Last couple of days, we've been tidying up the house, and I can't find anything. I think all the Godzillas are upstairs. Yeah, so I was looking around in vain to see any of the Godzillas, but none of them are here. They must all be upstairs. Yeah, they're in big kaiju storage.
No, I was thinking about getting you to get one of your props, but it's a good job I didn't. I had my
your own
Funko Pop.
I love it. I love your one. That's really cool.
Funko prop. Yeah, Stav actually got it for me. Speaking of the things the Stav got for me. It's got the atomic breath and everything. It's so cool with the blue spikes. It's definitely the one from the later films.
If there could be in the one player or even a 2-player co-op thing where you do part of MK12 is a platform based beat 'em up thing like Streets of Rage or something like that, you could genuinely fight a Godzilla in that.
Oh yeah, easy.
You could go up levels. Yeah, you could be attacking his feet in the first level, then you climb up a bit higher, attack his hips, and then you go for his chest or something.
Let's be clear. You wouldn't climb anywhere because if it's a 2D beat 'em up game, you would have to be on one of those big industrial elevator.
Yeah, you'd be on a classic Contra style power lifter. Yeah.
Exactly.
Iraklis in the chat. Bulk would find a way to downplay Godzilla.
He would. He'd be he's too slow though.
Look, you can see my command. You can see my command grab coming from a mile away because it's literally coming from a mile away.
Yeah, you see Godzilla starting to do a tail whip, and it takes him a good 30 seconds to complete the 180 to turn around.
Which kaiju on kaiju action is completely fine. 30 seconds is they're big units. They're not going to move out of the way in 30 seconds. But when you're talking about literally mosquito-sized targets, they have the agility to get out of the way of these things. Yeah.
Yeah, Cassie Cage would just activate her green juice and just be almost immune to it. But,
Wait,
you
what?
know, I'd like to see them avoid the atomic breath.
What's Cassie
It's not
got?
like he... Cassie Cage.
It's got what?
She's got that green glow that protects her from everything.
I thought you said she's got green juice.
It was just a turn of phrase.
She wants to get that sorted out.
He really does.
I'm no expert on the female anatomy, but that sounds like it's hideous.
It sounds like something the bride would not abide.
Baby, do it a flip. Hey.
Had to do it.
Right, Carlton, come to my rescue.
Danny says, what would the mirror match look like? If it's a mirror match, the camera goes up to head height.
Yeah, I
so
think if
like
it's
in
a mirror
clouds.
match, is the only time you can see them in their full glory, and that would be awesome. Why would it be anything else? Right.
You'd see that, like, they wouldn't program the game properly, so you'd see the giant characters, but the camera would be zoomed out so far, you would just see the edges of the stage, and then the void.
So that's your joke characters? Yeah, and
That
you
is
finished
my
on
joke
Godzilla?
characters.
Okay, well, I've only got one joke character that I can really think of, and that is this guy. I have the power.
Contemplated him as a non-joke character as well. I
Me
forgot
too.
about that.
Me too. He's this is the thing, is that what's his actual name? Stav will know. What's is Prince?
Right now, Stav is nursing a half chub. He loves He-Man. Loves He-Man. His name's Adam of Eternia.
Adam, Prince Adam. Thank you.
Funnily enough, Stav's first name is Adam.
There you go. Adam of Eternia. There was. I tried to get a PNG of the picture. Actually, let me just drag that up, Riker. Someone's just. Iraklis said Bulk's fatality would be stepping on Godzilla and breaking his tail.
Yeah, as big as Godzilla is, Bulk would be like.
Oh, too
Bulk would
funny.
be to Godzilla what Godzilla is to us.
Too funny. Let me just show you the graphic that I wanted to use but couldn't because it wasn't a PNG file. But I'm going to just drag it up anyway, and you're going to have to hold the fact that it's got a... oh no, this one's got a transparent background. Here we go. I'm going to save that as He-Man 2.
Stav said, half chub, F that, I have the chub of Grayskull. And when he holds his magic chub aloft and says, believe it or not, I have the power.
Listen.
Stav.
Stav has the power. Yes, indeed.
Yeah,
Okay.
by the way, fun fact, Stav gave, in our Dungeons & Dragons campaign, Stav gave my character that sword, so I can become, my guy's name is Shinji Be Good, so I can become He Be Good when I raise my magic sword aloft and shout the magic words, Michael Jackson did nothing wrong.
Harps, just look at the, if you can, look at the screen. This is the image I wanted to use.
Oh, I'm seeing it. It looks just like that Akuma image. The funny thing is, I get the feeling that that's his wrong demographic.
That's why I didn't use it, because I'm reminded so much. And this is actually a product.
Look at that smirk. He's like, look, I've got this, and I don't even want it.
This exactly. He's not into it, girls. He's not into it. If you look at that, this is actually a product for the American version of Lynx deodorant, which they call Axe.
Okay.
So
let me guess. That's the sorceress on the left.
No, one of them is going to be
Ira on the left.
Kara. No, what's her name? I think
sorceress is middle with the white owl on her head.
Yes,
I think that's She-Ra on the left.
Yes,
Who's that on the
She-Ra.
right?
No idea, but she's going to be disappointed.
By the way, Hunter says threesome.
Hunter can't count.
Well,
maybe obviously when Adam leaves, then yes, they will.
Yeah, when he's like, well, okay, I'll see myself out. you ladies have fun.
He-Man doing the Nescafe advert. Yeah. So anyway, that was I believe some of the artwork for Axe body spray in America, where they used He-Man as a magnet for attracting members of the opposite sex, which, from what we know for He-Man, is the wrong way.
I mean, look, we don't know if he's gay.
Look, it's 2021.
Sometimes you look at him and you question.
It's 2021, and we are all down with that. All the power to him. We'd want to support him to come out of his castle as soon as possible. But anyway, He-Man, I thought would be a fantastic addition. For the fact that he'd make all of his opponents die through pure laughter.
I mean, he's so brutal. Stab showed me a while ago. Stab came round and we were watching some clips of He-Man, and he goes, "Wait, why are we watching clips? Let's just watch an episode of He-Man." And honestly, it was awesome. I'm not going to lie. And Stab said to me, he said, "Look, this is what happens. This is what happens when He-Man runs. Okay, if you see He-Man running, we're about to see him do something impossible." Right? And at first I thought he must be joking, he must be using hyperbole, but no. Every time we saw He-Man running, I was like, yes, because I knew he was going to do something impossible. And he did.
Yes.
There was a forest on fire, so he went over to the base of this mountain, as you do, ripped a chunk of it out, so water started coming out of the mountain, and then he put his hands in such a way that it spread the water up, so it rained down over the forest that was on fire and put it out, and then just put the rock back and plugged up the hole. Just after he started running.
Stab's like, and you put him in the joke list?
I almost put him in my legit list, I really did. But I thought he's not brutal enough, is he?
Yeah, when you think about it, he is Kiddie Conan. He's Conan the Barbarian. Didn't even think about that one. I get the reason. I think I eliminated all Arnold Schwarzenegger characters because Arnie's been in the game.
Same. I did consider. It's all coming back to me now. I actually considered more. I did consider Commando because he's the most Arnie of the Arnie characters, John Matrix. But yeah, they had Terminator, so I just said no.
I considered his character in Red Heat and Raw Deal. So the Raw Deal's the older one, where he takes on like a mining operation, cowboys, and the other one's Red Heat, where he plays a Russian agent, works for KGB.
The only thing I know about that film is when he grabs this guy's fake leg and just pours out all this massive load of cocaine out of it, and then he just goes, "Cocaine him."
No, he's what's his partner's name? I can't remember now, but he says that you can't just beat people up. There's something called Miranda over here. He goes, "What is Miranda?" Miranda rights. You know, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you can say will be taken in a court of law against you. And the next time he's in his car, he's in the patrol car, and like a gang guy is around, and he says, "Do you know Miranda?" And the guy says, "No, I haven't heard of the bitch," and he just smacks him.
Yeah, see, now that's kind of like Doom Guy, because the guy's like, "You can't just go around doing this," and he's like, "Watch." He just does it. I have to mention as well, Stav put out a quote earlier. I saw, but I didn't mention it because you were talking. It's another Arnie film that I did consider. Hey, Christmas tree! Hey, light bulb!
Of course.
The Running Man.
Yes. What's his name? What's his character's name? It's John. No.
It's always John something.
It's always John. It's always John.
Oh, no. What was it? It was
Colonel. No.
Someone Google it and tell us his name. But I just saw Danny say something.
Full
he goes Commando, like the Johnny Cage skin. Nah, son.
Nah.
That Commando Johnny Cage skin was a different Arnie character, Dutch from Predator.
Yes.
It was terrible because they didn't get Arnie. They got Apollo for some reason, but not Arnie.
Yes. He does wear combat webbing in Commando, the film, but it's slightly different. It is slightly different. What's I can't remember his name now.
Getting his oh, that's his name. The most Austrian name of all time, Ben Richards.
Thank you,
God.
Ben Richards. Of course it is. I will not fire on innocent women and children. They're just looking for food or something like that. Yeah.
Like, here is Sub-Zero. Now, in Zero.
Why don't we have a Running Man game? Like a proper one nowadays? Could you've got Firestorm, you've got Buzzsaw, Sub-Zero, Plane Zero. You've got all these characters. Dynamo, Captain Captain Freedom. We could get to finally see Jesse Ventura fighting with all that gear on, or without the gear on. He doesn't need all that stuff, you know.
Nothing but a bunch of slack-jawed maggots around here.
Crossing movies now, but yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it could be good. You know, game films tend to be not good, especially games based on films that came out like 30 years ago.
Well, now it would all be like Force 3D and you know, from behind the protagonist and all that. It would be like Skyrim or something nowadays, wouldn't it? Yeah, they do.
Wait. They did make a Running Man game.
Of course there was. There was always game. Back in the day, a movie comes out, it comes out of the game. Doom Eternal.
I think Arnie and Doom Guy are about equal on power level. Maybe Arnie's a bit higher.
Controversial. I'm not gonna dispute it. It's controversial.
Yeah, Arnie doesn't change weapons because he's out of ammo. He changes weapons because he's simply bored of killing with that one and wants to try a new one. So
okay, right. So that's your list, ladies and gentlemen. So unfortunately, as I said, we have apologies from Iraklis. He couldn't make it in for the actual podcast today. We were going to get his. He was going to be up here, next to the arcade cab, on the other side where the chat bar is, and the chat bar was going to be in the middle like we normally do it. But yeah, that's unfortunately the way the souvlaki crumbles.
He's got his list in the chat if you want to.
I've not seen
address that.
Which chat? What, the TC chat? Has he put it
in the stream chat? Iraklis has given his list.
Where?
I'm looking at it, mate.
Okay, what is his list? Oh, I see it. It's just gone up there. Undertaker, Kane, Fulgore, and Ryu, just to piss off.
To annoy Panda.
Yeah.
But Panda's not here anyway.
Well, that would have been a great list. I would have loved to have talked about that. Unfortunately, we haven't. We're just going to have to save our comedy for a future podcast. I mean, in the comments, if you're watching this on YouTube, and in the chat, if you want to let us know, what do you feel? What is your last message, Hunter? Just repeat it, because I don't know which. Because you're asking Harps the question.
Yeah, it's confusing. Oh, Bulk How Pog Champ, I guess.
What is Bulk How Pog Champ? What is that? What does Pog Champ mean?
Some.
Oh, I think it was the reference to. I wasn't making an I wasn't making a homophobic reference when I was saying that Adam as He-Man is a closet homosexual. I'm just stating facts.
Yeah, we weren't. There wasn't any. It's not like we were saying, this is a bad thing.
This is a bad thing. No,
like that. Of course not.
He's just presented as, because obviously in the 80s he's presented as this manly man, but we all look at it and he's clearly a gay hero, and he really is. He's a gay hero. We should celebrate that more.
Pink
his cat. Just take a look at the cat.
I regret saying that, because there's nothing about pink shirts that indicate that if you're wearing them you're gay. I've got pink socks. Does that mean I'm gay? So that was a stupid thing of me to say. That was stupid
to say. I mean, I tried to cover it up with the cat, but there we go.
There was So Iraklis say earlier that the Undertaker would be good for MK because they keep killing him and he keeps coming back.
This is true. It's
very much Mortal Kombat right there.
You know what we didn't do? We didn't do any crossover characters from existing fighting game franchises to get into the Mortal Kombat franchise to build popularity between either.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Yes, because I don't care about that. I just want I want to play as. Like I say, I did consider Kazuya, but I thought, he's been in enough crossovers already, and if I want to play as Kazuya in a fighting game, I won't play Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, you play Smash. You play Smash Brothers.
Exactly. I forgot he was in that. Yes.
That's why I put the Kazuya slide up there, because he's gone from being like the main protag in Tekken to being like the most execution heavy character in Smash.
That's true. Smash isn't a fighting game, though. Let's remember.
This is true.
I see. I can't even joke about that now because
I mentioned a certain Smash. Who did you mention, Whitney? Who did you mention? I'm eager to know.
I mentioned a certain Smash character.
This is Stab is true. Actually, Pink was a masculine character and Blue was a feminine one. This is actual true.
Yeah, back in the Roman days. Yeah.
Yeah, but now you've got just like things that are pink cost more if they're for girls. And I'm in the market for buying children's stuff, and yeah, girls' stuff just costs more than their.
Those are the social. People say gender. Some people say gender isn't a social construct, but it's like, well, yeah, because boys don't naturally grow up with an affinity for like army toys and cars.
This
like
is
that's
true.
what their parents do.
It's what
their
they
parents
get
like,
given.
I'm buying cars for him because he's a boy, or
Exactly,
a young boy wants to play with dolls. The parents are usually like, no, that's a girl thing. You'll play with this because you're a boy. So it's like, same with the colours.
We have such a wide selection of everything in the house for the juniors. Such a wide selection of everything, and you know that, and when we have kids come around, they get to play with everything. So it's just the way it is. And when they go everywhere, they get to play with anything. When am I coming to Dubai? At the moment, while it's like £7 a coffee, and average, you go out for dinner, it's £100. I'm not doing it at the moment. One of our friends literally just came back from Dubai, and she said, I thought it would be a cheap holiday because like a family friend invited me over. So I thought, yeah, it'll be a cheap holiday. No.
Oh yeah, I was so confused.
Sephiroth, of course. Sephiroth.
Which said I mentioned.
How could we not mention any Final Fantasy characters in Mortal Kombat because we know they're never going to get in there? As much as we love them.
I mean, I did think of Cloud, but then I thought, no, I don't want Cloud in Mortal Kombat. I'd play Air Guides if I wanted Cloud in a fighting game.
Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, Sephiroth, of course, I'd love to have. I'd actually like to see Cloud and Sephiroth in Soul Calibur.
It's another sword character. I mean, if there's going to put sword characters in a game, Soul Calibur is where it's at. Yeah.
Yes,
I
exactly.
would actually. Yeah, I'd buy Cloud for Soul Calibur.
Yeah, I would. I'll definitely buy.
You sold me on a hypothetical idea.
Give me Sephiroth in Soul Calibur, and I would own everyone. Double length katana. Yeah, I'll have some of that.
Yeah. Oh, it's unlike Bulk to use an unrealistically long sword that is just massively cheap. Yeah, Wit says Cloud versus Sephiroth and MK. No, I'd just play Smash if I wanted to see that.
Well, I don't know.
Air Guides.
I mean, you would have to ask the chat that. I mean, chat, Whitney, is my sword unrealistically big? I don't think so.
Kodal's is.
Yes, exactly. That's
He's like, look, I'm as far back as I can go, and you're as far back as you can go. Square. There you go. I got you. Combo started.
That's how it started off with Kazuya in that slide. I mean,
yeah. he's like, I'm as far back as I can go, and you're as far back as I can go. Square.
Wait. Okay, so this has been an entertaining podcast. I'm not gonna lie. I hope our viewing public have been suitably entertained. Are you not entertained? Gladiator. We didn't have Gladiator. He was someone I thought about.
It's another sword character.
It's another sword character in it, yeah. Or Trident, or Net, or whatever he happens to lay his hands on. Yeah. Harps, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Beatrix Kiddo. That's still blowing my mind.
Out of all of yours, I mean, I know that Doomslayer is your favoritist, but we both picked Beatrix Kiddo. We didn't Leonidas of Sparta. How could we have Gerard Butler, the most Scottish Spartan ever to have lived?
Yes. I made Leonidas in Soul Calibur 3. I'm Stav, it's true.
I never played Soul 3.
No, you never played the best one then?
Yeah, no, I never played it. My mates had the one with Spawn.
Soul Calibur 2 is pretty good.
That's 2, is it? Yeah. So I played Soul. Wasn't the first one called Soul Edge?
The first one in America and Japan was called Soul Edge. Over here it was called Soul Blade.
Soul Blade. That's it. There we go. I think the arcade was Soul
I only
Edge.
played Soul Calibur 1 a little bit because a friend of mine had a Dreamcast and I'd never seen a Dreamcast before. And when the intro started playing for Soul Calibur, I was like blown away by the graphics because I was used to PS1. And I was like, whoa! Oh man, yeah, but like it's not going to look this good in game, is it? And he looked at me and he went, just wait. And that was good. But Soul Calibur 2 was when I really got into it, and we had the PS2 version, so we had Heihachi, and he was probably my main in that game after Yunsun. Heihachi was so... I had more fun with Heihachi in Soul Calibur than I ever did in any Tekken. I really did.
Take it easy, Hunter. He's off.
Easy, son. But yeah, Soul Calibur, great.
SC4 was what I put the time into. I just spent all the time in creation mode and running one player. So I was playing Soul Calibur 4, and then I got into Virtua Fighter 4 straight after that. So that was what
The campaigns in Soul Calibur 2 and 3 were really good. And the first one, the campaign in Soul Blade, opened my eyes, and I was like, wow, you can have stuff that isn't just arcade mode? This is awesome.
Harps, are you streaming tomorrow? Hunter wants to know before he falls asleep.
I'm going to be streaming the game that Hunter told me was free on PSN yesterday, which I've had my eyes on for a while. I had no idea it was free. So again,
Lap Dance Simulator VR?
No, it's VR. Yeah, VR the game. No, it's
So not Lap Dance Simulator VR.
No.
That's my favourite of all of the lap dance simulators.
Yeah, the VR one. Yeah. It's the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners.
Oh, it is a VR game. Oh god.
Yes, yeah, it is. I remember seeing videos for it when it first came out, and it looked kind of slow and boring, but everyone said it was really good. And then yesterday Hunter went, by the way, it's free. Oh yeah, I modded him on the spot, and then I'm going to stream that tomorrow.
Could we imagine watching Harps, and I probably would still watch Harps, play Lap Dance Simulator VR, wearing his groin socket out in 3 months, just like Dave Lister?
It would see that it might be against Twitch's policies, so I would just simply have to just not let you see the gameplay. It would just be me sat in a chair.
Yeah, we'd just see your face. We'd see your helmeted face. That's all we would see, is see a head cam. It'll be like a PG hot tub stream. Yeah.
Yeah. and then by the end of it, I take it off, and I just look like Kazuya sat there.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So things that are coming up this week. Obviously, tomorrow Harps is streaming. Probably the day after that as well. On the what day is it today? It's Monday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, we're probably going to have Harps. I think Danny Sadiq will be streaming on the Wednesday as well. By the
next week,
sounds of things.
I'll be working 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. next week.
Oh,
so my streams.
Okay. So this week you'll be streaming.
Probably about 7 p.m.
So this week you'll be streaming, and then next week you'll be not. So I mean, we're already in this week. It's Monday. So tomorrow you're streaming.
It's Saturday. Tomorrow I'll be streaming regular time. Then on Monday I'll be working.
I don't suppose I've told anybody I'm getting rather old, have I?
So on Monday.
It is Saturday. Tomorrow I'm refereeing at a karate competition all day.
Of course, well, I'm glad I reminded you
which
of
is
that.
on a Sunday. Yes, there you go. I haven't already done that yet.
No, you haven't yet had that experience.
Well, I've had that experience many times, but I've not had that recently, as in tomorrow.
I imagine punching people in the face just sort of blurs into one sort of experience after a while.
Exactly. You don't know how much of this is blunt force trauma, how much of this is age related, and how much of it is because I had COVID.
Remember, people, when you try to mock Bulk for being old, remember, he suffers from PTSD, so don't you dare.
Thank you.
Yeah, so next week my streams
I've got PTSD from being a youth.
Yeah, my streams are probably going to start probably no earlier than 11 p.m. But they're going to be going later than usual, so bear that in mind.
Okie dokie. All right. Well, you and I will try and wangle a way around it somehow, so I don't cross your stream. Well, I mean, you'll be streaming much later than I do, and I'll probably be able to raid you, which will be pretty cool. We can send all 9 of our viewers over there, or however many we have that time. PTSD from MK11. Yeah. Okay.
I'll pop into your stream, and then I don't know, maybe just before you end, I'll be like, right, time to stream.
So Monday is going to be coming up. Monday we will have probably do a solo stream on Virtua Fighter if we don't get people booked in for a Considerable Combat. I'd like to do a Considerable Combat again. The Thursday we'll see who wants to do a Considerable Combat on Thursday, and then maybe in a couple, I don't know, maybe once a month or so, we might see if the gang want to get together for a podcast. I don't know. We'll see how we go. Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, because this has been
band back together.
This has been fun. I've really enjoyed it.
I agree, yeah. The time has flown by. 2.5 hours, just
Has
like
it been
that.
2.5 hours? Jeez.
2.5 hours, that's what it says.
Jeez. Damn.
So, if Iraklis and Panda were here, it would probably be 6 hours.
No, because Panda would say, I want smoke. And we'd be like, but Panda, he's not a guest. And you go, yeah, I know, but I want smoke.
Why do you want smoke? Because he's my boy. But next.
No, he wouldn't. He'd probably have a bunch of very creative characters. And we'd probably all have picked Beatrix Kiddo.
Like, I want generic Vanguard character. Want, Warzone dude.
You're typecasting him. I always enjoy both Bulk and Harp streams so much. Hey, shout outs to you, Stav. We enjoy you. We do enjoy
the company of Stavros.
He's a funny dude, that Stav. I'd love to meet him IRL. Yes. I'll buy him a pint. I'll buy him a pint.
Some Soul Calibur with him.
Yeah. All right.
So that's the point. I need to. I'll tell you what. I won't stream on Monday because of the stream crossing things, but I'll be in your chat. Yeah, I'll stream on Tuesday. That will probably be. It's been a while since I did Skyrim with 1 HP. I might stream that on Tuesday. And we'll definitely have to arrange this Soul Calibur stream with you, I, and Stab.
Yeah, I'm going to have to learn Soul Calibur 6, which I haven't done yet.
Yeah.
Right.
He's already getting the OS in. Already getting it.
Right, all that's left for me to say is, first of all, thanks and shout-outs to Harperlarp, a stalwart and one of my trusted OGs in Team Considerable, quite frankly, and he knows it. I count him as not only a valued and trusted colleague, but also as a good pal. That dude right up there. Got a lot of time for that man and his beard, and you need to, because one comes with the other. It's like you aren't entering that relationship without taking on the man who puts hair first and face second. Yes. Also, thank you, chat. You've been great tonight. You've kept us rolling on really nicely. It's always good to have that interaction. So thank you, chat, as well. I'm his beard.
Wish I could grow a beard like Stab. Stab has a magnificent.
I've seen Stab's beard. Yeah, it is stellar. It's not like my low-level South American criminal effort here. Yes, you can call me. Now, what can you call me? I was going to say Carlos, but I don't want to say Carlos. I always say Carlos. Manuel.
You can call me El Downplayerizo.
It's in South America, not Mexican. Anyway.
Speak Spanish and South America and Mexico, they're pretty close.
Yeah. All right. So all that's left for us to say is you crazy kids take it easy in there. If the bed falls through, we shall see you in the spring. Love each other and love all around. Very important nowadays. There's no reason to be, not good in these troubling and distressing times. Look after yourselves. Take all the necessary precautions at the Maskers hugging parties, because we need to see you at future events. That's for shiz. And of course, especially Stav, stop licking people's faces at the cuddle puddles. I mean it, Stav.
Stop calling them cuddle puddles.
I mean it, Stav. I mean it. Stop calling them cuddle puddles. It's just a soiree, darling. Right. From Harps and myself, we're going to leave you now with the best thanks for watching screen you're going to see on this channel, because it's the only one I got, and I like it. So yeah. Don't at me. Right. GG's everybody, and ciao for now.